Yeah, it is.
Can I see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
cool.
gonna put it up right now.
Cool.
Can you
Give me that screen. What else? Careful not to hit them.
I can never see the screen because of the light.
I know, but I can read it.
I know. That's weird. So we're basically live. Just careful what you just with what you say.
I'm about to say the craziest thing right now.
South Central does not.
Pineapple goes on pizza.
I do love pineapple on
What?
pizza, low key.
Yeah, I agree though. I would
We're
just
coming in hot.
come
Maybe
in.
that's more accepted now. I used to get way more hate for that.
What's that about?
I don't know. Well, I did think it was weird at first, but I think most good things are weird at first.
As you grow up, you figure out, vegetables and fruits still belong in pizza.
Vegetables and fruits?
I mean, yeah, vegetables and fruits. You don't like green pepper on your pizza or like other?
I do.
I
Stuff on
do,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, as a kid, it's just pepperoni and cheese. But you grow up.
Now I don't even like pepperoni on my pizza, low key. It's just
Why?
jalapenos and pineapple and cheese.
I need some type of
Nah.
meat.
Yeah, real.
I don't. Nah.
You don't like meat? Like,
No, I do, yeah.
okay.
I'm pretty
Wait.
picky with my pizzas, actually.
Wait, can
Where do you get pizza from? Like, what's your go-to pizza? Is it just any pizza spot?
Little
or?
Caesars is better than Pizza Hut.
I agree.
Nah,
They-
you
Take.
tripping.
I was like, the
No, I
cheaper the
take.
better sometimes. I don't know.
I'll do anything to avoid Little Caesars. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
What? Hot take.
I can't.
Careful
This
what you
was-
say.
No.
Bougie.
It's valid. I want to be
Central and Slaughton
authentic.
is about to come for this guy.
No, I want to be authentic. I don't like Little Caesars. I don't care how
I
much
like
you
them
sell it
all.
to me. I had to be
Yeah.
starving to eat it. I appreciate what it's done for the community in the hood, but it's not.
What
for
has
me.
it done for the community?
Well, $5 a pizza. Do you know how many
Remember
kids
when
that
it
feeds?
first opened?
It's like $7 now. It's just not.
But you know how many kids that feeds? Like, I mean, that's
Okay.
dope. What they did for the hood and
For
shit.
I see what you mean.
$15, we had food for like a Friday night and a Saturday morning at the house.
The morning.
We're like a
crazy.
family of 6.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
morning pizza, Loki.
Yes.
I wouldn't put it in the fridge though. I'd put it like in the microwave.
Yeah.
I like.
I'd eat it cold.
I like it crunchy.
I like it cold. I love cold pizza, low key.
Yeah.
Cold pizza is better than hot pizza for me. Hot take.
That's not a hot take. That's a regular take. You wasn't make everything a hot take.
That's the first time I try this. I've never said hot take before.
I could try.
You shut it down.
Hot take.
Try again.
Yeah, we got a special guest today. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hola, hi. My name is Leslie Jimenez, also known as Fotos Burritos by these two, also known as Gatos Burritos. Well, actually, initially Gatos Burritos.
Where does the
and
burritos
Fotos
come from?
Oh, that's a great question, and it's based in South Central. So, to recap, my name is Leslie, Gatos Burritos, Fotos Burritos, and I am a proud member of the South Central community. Been there my whole life, and I plan on being there for the rest of my life. The story of Gatos Burritos comes from somebody in the neighborhood on Central named que le dicen el Tortas Burritos, and he's like a family friend. Yeah, he's a family friend. Que le dicen el Torta Burritos because se la pasa repartiendo tortas y burritos like on Central en una bicicleta.
shit.
I don't know if he's still around. It's been a minute. Pero una vez le pregunté. Also, I switched from English and Spanish.
Good.
Spanish is my native
Yeah,
language.
that's
so,
fine. Yeah.
you know, if I say something, I'm gonna say it in English after.
I'm fluent.
Or you can just keep it in Spanish. You don't have to go back and
Great.
forth.
Or for the sake of accessibility for people watching,
Oh,
si no
great
tal
point.
vez tienen eso.
They can just turn on the captions.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Nah, you can
There's a
lead,
caption option, guys.
lead how you want.
Yeah. Okay.
sorry.
Awesome.
Go for it.
Chévere, qué chévere, qué chido, güey.
Chetos, remember they used to say chetos?
Chetos,
That's
yeah.
it,
Bueno, the story of el tortas burritos, right? I asked my dad, I was like, oye, ¿por qué le dicen el tortas burritos? And he's like, pues porque vende esto, pero agita la mano, like, también anda aventando otra cosa. And I was like,
Oh shit, no way.
that's so funny. That's so creative. Of course, like,
That's crazy.
what a great drug dealer name, right? But then around that time too, we lived on this house, and for some reason there was like a lot of cats that used to come around, and friends would be like, hey, I have a cat, do you want it? Or like, hey, I need a cat, do you have one? And I'd be like, sure, or sure. Y no sé, de un día me brotó el nombre like Gatos Burritos, and I was like, yeah, I kind of be like throwing cats around the neighborhood, I guess.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Cat smuggler.
Yeah.
Or the cat plug.
A cat plug, something. But Gatos Burritos just stuck. There was something that I really enjoyed about gatos and burritos,
That's
and it
funny.
was a funny name. And
That's a good combo though. I mean,
No, it is. I mean,
they're
like, it's unique.
Yeah.
And you never struggled to get that username, right?
no, never. Another name that I've been struggling to get is soft tostada.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, but
Like a
somebody,
tortilla?
yeah, like a tostada is like a very fragile thing.
Oh, soft. I thought you meant like soft, like not.
A soft
Tostada, like
yeah,
a
no, but I
tortilla.
mean just like the
Yeah, no, I get you.
for it to be like
fragile.
a tostada, but it's
Fragile.
fragile.
Yeah.
It's like
That makes sense.
a soft
Okay.
kind of
I thought you meant
thing.
like a tortilla.
yeah, well, I mean, essentially it is though. Because
Yeah,
the tostada is like, oh my god, learning that 4 chips is 1 tortilla changed everything for me. I was like,
When you eat
¿cuánto?
nachos.
No chingues.
Yeah, because I used to work at a taco truck and I used to see them cut up the tortillas. I'd be like, those end up being like a whole box of nachos. Sometimes, I mean, you don't know how many tortillas you're eating, but in the nachos, there's probably at least 6 or 7 tortillas.
That changed everything for me. I was like, no
Not just
chingues,
that, but they're
bro.
dipped in oil. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
like
fried.
oily,
Yeah.
oily tortillas. How
Yeah.
healthy can that get?
Yeah.
Just
Anyway.
just add some cilantro and vegetables, and mix it. Like
Yeah, the
evens out.
veggies and the
It like
fruits.
evens out. Yeah, so we're good.
Even the tortillas.
Yeah, for real. Bueno, that's the story of Gatos Burritos. And then
dope.
Fotos Burritos comes from taking that extension of Gatos Burritos, but making it my art page. I started that in college to have a place to show my photography, to just take photos and put things that I found in everyday life. And little by little, it progressed to showing work about the things that I've been doing in the museum education
Right.
world. And now it's currently transitioning back to that mix of community, art, education, back into photography and other creative ventures.
And you've always been creative.
Yeah, I think I have. When I was younger, I was like, no, I'm not very creative. I don't really do this. Pero sometime around high school, sometime around college, and even later, I was like, wait, there's creativity in
everything,
everybody.
for sure. Everybody's
right?
creative, honestly.
Yeah, everybody has this creative thing, and we're human beings, so naturally we're
Yeah.
creative beings. For me, what speaks to me the most are things that are in motion or in movement, and things that are visual. So I'm a kinetic learner. I like to touch stuff. I like to move things around. I like to move my body. If I'm listening to things, also because I process things, I like an auditory processor. I write things down. I create some sort of system of capturing things, and I think that pairs off well with being a visual learner because I hear something, I see it, and then it's manifested through body movements.
Oh
So,
shit, that's interesting. I've
yeah.
never heard creativity through bodily movements.
yeah, like learning styles, being an auditory processor, being a visual learner, a kinetic learner, or a multifaceted kind of learner. Everyone's got like a little thing.
What
that
kind
they-
of creativity did you see in your parents?
Oh, that's a great question. So my mom's from Nayarit, my dad's from Jalisco, and my mom comes from La Sierra, Escora. And so for her, it was always music and her form of speaking and the way that she sus curiosidades y lo que ve en el mundo, how she kind of ties things around. And for my dad, it was the way that he navigates social engagements with people. He has a business. He's been a car detailer for like 17 years.
You have to be talkative.
Yeah, and le sirve y es bien movido, so he's very creative in how he problem solves cuando un equipo or like una máquina se le descompone, cuando tenemos las trocas o los carros, and he's trying to like find a way of solving things. I totally get from both of them. So my parents are very creative people, and I think it just paired off well with me as well.
Damn. that's
Yeah.
dope.
What about you guys? Creatives? I mean, of course.
I think
right?
I've always
Creatives?
I've always kind of self-identified as a creative, but I don't know. I never fully honed into it until like my 20s. I started like I've always like needed some kind of output, low key, and I figured when I was trying to shy away from it, that's the worst time. Like I wasn't a happy person, you know. So I think the more I've realized that in the last like 10 years, maybe I've been just pushing forward with that, and honestly, having the page SCLA Clips helped a lot with that.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
focusing more on my output of creativity.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's great. And you?
I think I'm more like on the business side. I like getting things done.
Yeah.
It doesn't always get done, but it's the thought of getting things done.
Yeah.
I guess what counts. And kind of like you, like my dad had his own business, or the way he kind of troubleshoots shit and finds out how to do things and move around in a space where he didn't grow up and didn't have that experience or doesn't have those resources, made me realize how much easier we have it compared to like how he has it as a business owner. But yeah, it just comes and goes. I don't think I'm narrow to like one thing. I'm just sporadic. I'm everywhere, to be honest. I'm
Yeah.
not heavily focused on one certain aspect of it.
That's awesome. I think too, when in creative fields and people who are creative, you start to realize that there's this multidisciplinary approach that you have to your work and to life because it doesn't exist in a vacuum or in a silo. Everything is kind of informed
Sure.
by everything.
Interconnected. Like,
yeah.
I can look back as a kid. I used to like taking my PlayStation apart because I needed to see how it worked, and I figured that's a big part of my creativity is understanding how things work around me
Yeah.
and finding patterns in those and kind of forming those worlds. I mean, morphing those worlds together.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's there's this big thing for me right now talking about STEM and STEAM, how art and science are integrated. They're all kind of the same discipline. We all have to use creative we have to use critical thinking to approach a problem or approach a situation and get a result. One just maybe happens to be a little more design oriented
For
or
sure.
color oriented or meaning oriented, and the other is maybe, I don't know, practical. Although to me they both seem practical, but STEM, STEAM, I think it's all part of the same. We're all creative. We all have a way of seeing the world and seeing lines or I don't know, systems or breaking things apart.
for
Even with
sure.
like numbers or business.
I was gonna
there's-
say he says he's not creative, but in a business way, he's always been creative in that sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
the numbers tell a story.
What numbers?
Every number you look at, your algorithm, the numbers.
Business numbers.
Yeah. He's
No,
very
yeah.
attuned to numbers.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
What did that mean?
Sorry.
I'm very attuned
Here,
to
let's throw some
numbers.
numbers
Like
right
you-
now.
you
Come on, break it down for me.
What, like you analyze like social media and like numbers and
Oh,
like,
yeah, I guess.
sales and stuff, like that's creative in a sense. is what
Yeah,
we
I
mean.
guess
You're
so.
interpreting
Yeah.
numbers for,
No, for sure.
some sort of
Mhm.
result, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yo.
I feel like we were leading into something really good and I forgot.
We were talking
Before
about.
Gatos Burritos, I think.
You,
Fotos burritos
you asked
are-
her about her creative side, how she got in her
No,
parents.
but before that, I think I forgot. We can keep going.
We were still in the South Central era part of things.
Yeah, South Central.
So back to South Central.
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, back to the 323.
Or 213, 213.
Oh.
I had to change numbers, and they don't have 323 numbers available no more. So now I'm a 213er. I was a 323er for my entire
Yeah,
life.
that was
Dang.
just- she's
But
not
luckily, I
like
didn't
you
get
no
the other
more.
one, the 424. There's the 424
Oh, there's
now.
a, oh, but that was relatively new though.
Yeah, I know, but
Super new.
I got lucky. I got 213 because they're running out of
Yeah.
213s too. I mean, there's a chance future
That's
people
crazy.
could be 424s.
424s.
We're that big.
I think it's 424, something like that.
Wow.
I did hear
Yeah.
about that a while back. I just never heard about it again.
Yeah,
This
Oh.
is the first time I'm hearing about it. I'm so sorry
for
that you
reals?
had to let go of your
I'm a 213 now.
2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little, but yeah. So South Central, so to you, what is South Central? How far wide does it spread?
Well, that's a great question. Let me pull out my map right now.
Let's put up the resources.
Do-do-do-do-do. What is South Central? What is South LA? Great questions. Great articles
South
written about
LA.
them. Great conversations to have. I think your page, you guys have definitely provided a space for people to think about that and have a dialogue about what is South Central, what is Sur Centro, what is South LA, what does that mean in terms of culture, what does that mean in terms of political representation, council member representation.
So you think South LA and South Central have a big difference, or is a big difference?
That's a great question. So for me, right, I think South LA, this is just for me. South LA is anything that's south of the 10 between Alameda and I would say like Crenshaw.
Crenshaw.
But even like,
But I feel like Crenshaw
Yeah.
has a heavy name where it stands itself as the Crenshaw
you think it's
area.
its own district?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
So I mean South LA.
Oh,
Like,
okay, South LA. I
The way
got
that
you.
we think about North LA, the way that we think about West LA, because West LA is like West Hollywood, Culver City,
No,
other
yeah.
pockets.
I think I jumped the gun.
Yeah,
Well,
just in
I get you.
cardinal directions, north, south, east, west. When I think South LA, I'm thinking everything that's south of the 10. And also historically, because it's informed by redlining and segregation, todo lo que existe de la Washington para acá, all the way to...
I think the 105, because I think the 105 was a big part of
Sí,
that ride.
yeah, y luego de allí sigue como el segundo y van
Yeah.
cambiando las cosas, right? Things start to change. So Crenshaw, I think it's its own district. When you tell me like, oh, I live by the Crenshaw Mall, I'm like, oh, okay, you're in Crenshaw. But to me, it's still associated to South Central. So for me, también, it changes a little bit because when you look at archives and when you look at street names, just in terms of like semantics, right, or and titles, South Central sería technically everything that's from south of the
Downtown area?
downtown area along Central. So it can be everything. ¿A dónde termina la Central? Like,
it goes all the way to Carson for sure.
yeah. But
I
is
know
that
it
South
is.
Central? No,
for
¿verdad?
sure.
But in terms of just like
LA
mass.
Galaxy's not in South, like LA Galaxy's in Carson, not LA.
Exactly.
It's a Galaxy team, not an LA. I mean, it's a Carson team, not an LA team.
Great point.
Exactly. I don't really do sports, but hot take.
That's not a hot take. That's a great take.
Okay, great take.
Good try. LAFC is a South Central team. My bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. I've yet to go to a game. That's on my
what?
to-do list.
You haven't?
You have to
No,
go
not
somewhere.
yet. I will.
There's a good game going on right now. Actually.
know.
They're playing Toluca.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Emily. She's over there right
Yeah,
now.
shout out Emily for sure.
Shout out Emily. Have a great time. South Central. Bueno,
Yeah,
para
sorry.
mí, de lo que es de la Alameda this way y lo que es de la Crenshaw para allá. 10 that way and like the 91 that way.
91?
91?
Yeah, the edge of Gardena. Because Rosecrans.
Bro, Compton is right there. Compton stands alone as Compton.
I know,
now.
and Compton, but I feel
If
like
you go
there's a
back-
sweet spot.
I think if you go back, most people used to reference even Compton as
Oh,
South
yeah,
Central.
for sure.
Yeah,
Kinda like
and you
the
have
whole
Willowbrook, like
NWA.
the entire pocket where MLK, the hospital, is at. MLK and that sweet spot between like Linwood and Watt. To me, that's still a little bit of South Central. So South Central to me is defined by those specific lines. South LA is the bigger picture of lo que existe para acá. When it comes to South Central as a culture, ahí es donde vamos cortando las cosas because South Central is very complex and very diverse. It's got a history, it's got infrastructure, it's got resources and lack thereof of resources that informs everything. And even like housing styles, even the population and demographics, todo South Central tiene su propia identidad. But what I really enjoy the most of it también is that you ask somebody like, oh, where are you from? And they're like, South Central. And
Now, right? I think there used to be an era back then where
Yeah.
it was kind of people would avoid saying where they're from
Correct.
South Central. So I think that pride's coming back. And I feel like a lot of these pockets that we don't consider South Central is because they were kind of trying to separate away from South Central back in the time where there was
Yeah.
kind of, I guess, maybe shame still to be representing
Yeah,
South Central
yeah.
as opposed to now that's flipped. So now more people want to claim South Central.
Yeah.
But in general, I think if we look back historically, South Central was bigger than just like the streets.
yeah, well, get this. South Central, the city of LA used to only exist up until Slauson. So Slauson today, and this maybe taps into a little bit of like this history archives. Slauson and Central, donde está la North Gate y donde está Little Caesars and all of that. Remember back in the day? I don't know if you guys remember, but a few years ago.
I just remember when it was an empty lot.
It was an empty lot,
Yeah.
right? And it looked like there was nothing. There
Yeah.
was just that rail
Dirt,
that
like,
used to
and-
connect the Slauson line, the
Yeah,
railroad
I
tracks
do.
that were there to inside. But wouldn't you know that that empty big plot of land used to be the train depot for the entire city of Los Angeles
Oh, shit.
in like 1883.
What?
And the very last street of LA was Slauson Avenue.
Oh, what?
And it wasn't incorporated until it's got a milestone, but it wasn't incorporated until like later on. And that big plot of land that didn't have anything for many years was actually a very, very big train depot to get everybody from South Central, all the African American community people who used to live there, and move them into the main city.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so all the trains that we see now, like the old trains, the vintage trains, the trolleys, the esa madre, they used to all sit in South LA. They used to sit there.
That's interesting. I guess that explains why that Wetlands Park has that
Yes.
big building where they used
Correct.
to service. Oh.
Yeah, so that's one of the extensions, but the bigger depot, lo que es como Union Station or the Amtrak station, right? Que está acá en el centro, was actually there. That was the very last
Damn,
bit
that's
of
crazy.
Los Angeles. And
Is there
1883.
pictures of that? I want to see that.
Yes. And
can I find
that's
that?
something that I've collected personally as part of this personal archive of railroads and traffic, transportation infrastructure in South Central, because so much of how people access South Central and how people in South Central access the rest of the city comes from the train lines, comes from the things that were already naturally forming in the landscape, and then how streets were divided up and how they were separated and broken down. So there's waterways that inform that. There's different soil levels that inform
crazy.
that. Before it was a train depot, it actually used to be a really big cow farm. So there's a lot of soft soil that exists under that space. There's a lot of soft soil that exists along Central in the 50s and in the 40s, like the street numbers. So a
There were
lot of the
farms?
yeah, they were farms. And so a lot of the soil, which received a lot of water because of agriculture, is still very soft. So you have some houses that maybe sometimes are sinking a little bit because the foundation is just soft because of all that 100 years of, like, you know, water
Farming,
and things of that
agriculture,
sort.
yeah.
Yeah, so there's so much to South Central. When you ask me that question, for me, it's like, yes, there's what it is in terms of a map, what it is in terms of politics and how it's represented, what it means in terms of demographics, what it means in terms of culture, but then what it means in terms of its natural resources, or what lies beneath the earth, like geologically speaking, ¿qué es South Central? Which is so fascinating for me.
That's crazy because I was expecting like a shorter answer, like just streets. Like, oh,
No,
goddamn, there's a lot.
you
That's good,
got
though. Like,
you
goddamn,
got the wrong
it's just-
person for that answer.
For real, that's good
Yeah,
though. I feel like I learned a lot right now. It's like, damn.
Yes, I'm so
I want to
glad.
see those photos now. Like, I want to see those trains.
Oh, well, to answer that question, so if you want to be able to access those photos, the LA Public Library has a great collection and a great archive. But a small plug, this is something, I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm in libraries, I'm in museums, I'm not going to do none of that. There is a company called the Firebaugh and the Sanborn Fire Company. When the United States was developing and big cities were forming, this fire insurance company was going around the big cities to plot everything. And what they were doing was making sure that they were getting paid, because where there's a city, there's fire. And where there's fire, there's, of course, dinero.
So they were archiving for their beneficial
Yeah, for
gain.
better or for worse, they were plotting and they were making very comprehensive maps of all the cities.
shit.
And wouldn't you know that they made very comprehensive maps of South Central.
What years were these?
This was 1880s, 1870s to today. There's still a
Damn,
company that
that's
exists.
crazy.
Yeah, but much of these maps where you can see Central Avenue, Avalon, San
As it
Pedro,
developed?
as it developed, train depots, lo que sea, exist in those images.
They're
so
public?
the Sanborn, yeah, they are. You should be able to access them. So you search up like South LA train track. You might have to do like a deep dive and use some special like research, you know, whatever. Pero the Sanborn Fire Insurance Company maps give you that. And not just for LA, pero any city in the United States. Yeah.
God damn.
Archives.
That's badass. I've been thinking a lot about archives with the work we're doing, you know, because for now they just exist on social media, but those could be taken from us any day, whenever, you know, whenever
Yeah.
they choose to.
Claro. And that's the beauty of investing in the public library system, and the beauty of investing in public archives and libraries. Coming from that field, there is a Bill of Rights actually that exists with librarians, and it's like the 10 Commandments. Libraries are public spaces. Libraries will always exist to serve people. There's a couple of other line items, but one big thing is the access to information, free access to information. You may agree with it or not agree with it, but the important thing is to have access, and that's the true definition of freedom. It's very constitutional. It's very American in a way. But libraries are so important to take care of, whether it's a library that exists in a digital space or a library that exists in person.
Yeah, for sure.
A collection of these things and a system that allows you to access them is also just as important, I think.
I didn't have a personal laptop until I was like 15, so I grew up going to the library and
Yeah.
using
What
the
was your favorite
resources.
library?
The one next to my neighborhood, which is Junipero Serra.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
nice.
next
Yes,
to the
nice.
church.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That one's
I grew
a
up going to them. I would walk to it. You know, it's
Yeah.
not far from my house. So, I mean, I was there. You know, and it'd be like a time limit that you could use a computer. So I'd wait until my time limit was up and then do it again, like just all day in there, just using the computer.
yeah. What about your library?
Same one.
Same one?
Yeah, we were neighbors for like a long time.
Oh, what happened? Just kidding.
You want to get that deep, don't you?
Mine was the Vernon branch Yeah.
The one on Central.
on Central.
Central.
Yeah, next to the lavanderia.
That one's like a bit like I don't know.
I never knew about it until
Yeah.
like later on.
Yeah.
I've been in there, but
I
it
didn't know
feels
that
so
was
weird.
library.
You know, it just feels like so different to
It
me
feels
because I'm so
older.
used to mine.
Yeah, ours
It
was
is
like
It might be older. It might be
ours was
older.
like more modern and
Yeah,
nicer.
for
I feel like
sure.
it was renovated at some point when we were there.
I didn't know about the library there
Juniper?
until like high school.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I just no caminábamos mucho para allá, like
Yeah.
in Avalon, because we were on Central.
That makes sense.
That was in your hood. That was in your hood.
not your hood. No. Central.
How long have your parents been over here?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh my God, I would love to talk about that. Oh, but they might not want me to do that.
No, yeah, just in
Yeah.
general, I guess maybe
For about 30 years now.
30 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how. South Central to you. You grew up here, right? So that means
Yeah,
a lot
my
to you.
parents met here actually.
Oh, they met
And
over here.
I'll say it. They whatever. My mom and my dad met at El Swami de los Amigos.
Oh,
Maple and
hey.
Jefferson. Yeah.
Damn.
Family
R.I.P.
works there.
Swami.
My mom allí, cuando se vino para acá, tenía ya su familia.
What did she work?
parientes.
What position? What? I mean, what-
So my family tenía, my family, extended family, tenían el puesto de los CDs y de las joyas que estaban en la esquina del escenario. And vino mi mamá,
Oh, by the bathrooms.
al otro lado, like,
Okay.
you know, there's the plaza donde bailaban todos.
Right.
Y si te vas to the very edge,
to where that little.
it was the one CD spot.
The big one.
Yeah.
Your parents had.
No,
that?
my parents,
Oh, okay,
no,
okay.
but the.
Yeah, I remember that spot. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Had
my
everything.
mom's family. Ella se vino con ellos when she was in her early 20s, and trabajó allí, and then she started working for una filipina que tenía un puesto de camisas closer to the middle, like where the
Like Pro Club
photo
and shit?
shop was.
Pro Club.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So ahí estaba vendiendo y una vez, así como contó, mi dad used to go all the time, great dancer, bien de ambiente, of course. So llegó a mi mamá y le dijo, hey, you know, si te invito a bailar, ¿te dan permiso? And mom was like, no. Pero dijo, okay, she went for a dance y ya regresó como a las 3 horas, and her boss, la señora que le empezó a gritar cosa y media.
Oh shit.
I was like, get out of here. Le dio la bolsa y se la aventó. And
No
I was like,
way.
oh no. Y el hijo de la señora le dijo, it's okay, Martina, like, come out here. Oh, please scratch that. Oh, whatever. It's like, it's okay, just come back tomorrow. So she showed up to work the next day, and she kept working. And then my dad, pues claro,
Kept
llegó
going.
el día siguiente. And then down the line, here I show up. Well, I had another sibling. She passed. And then I came into this world.
How was it for you knowing that Amigo Swami was closing down and stuff?
It was heartbreaking.
Knowing that story.
Yeah, well,
But
it was-
even apart from that, like what it
Yeah.
means to like the community and stuff.
So that's
you know?
a great question for me as well. I've thought about this too. I was a big advocate of supporting the swap meet before it closed, and also seeing how it was facing challenges because of Amazon and other online vendors, and also holding our generation a little bit accountable for
Right,
that.
for sure.
Because I think maybe we grew up in a place or during a time where todos queríamos tener cosas de marcas. Pro Club was something that you didn't want to wear. Shaka wear, olvídate. You'd be like, haha, why are you wearing that?
Yeah, you couldn't wear shaka.
You couldn't wear none of that, right?
You have to be Pro Club.
Para la generación de nosotros, it was like embarrassing. Para mí, no, I'd be like, I don't care. I'm rascuache as fuck. Like, I'll wear whatever the fuck. I'll
That's a
wear.
good word. What was that one?
Rascuache?
Rascuache.
Yeah, like, I'll wear whatever the fuck. Like, al fin del día is, I'm not barefoot. Like, I have clothes on my back. ¿Qué importa lo que sea? Pero I think our generation maybe really like dropped the ball in paying too much attention into that type of stuff. Porque poco a poco los vendedores that were just selling non-brand things were like, no llega la gente.
I think that came at the forefront of like the digital age with like MySpace and like Facebook and like comparing yourself to like other groups and like what they're wearing and stuff. I think that was the big shift in like starting to recognize being self-aware of like what you're wearing and what you should be wearing according to others.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. I think there was a time where it was like you don't want to be seen shopping at Swami.
Yeah, there was a big time. For sure, there was a big period of time where it's like, oh my God, you're wearing ropa. Obviously, you bought that fake Aeropostale from the swap meet.
Well, like
from
now-
Alameda. And you're like, yeah, you didn't? Like, we all live in the same neighborhood. What, you thought that I was going to go all the way to Glendale? I don't have bus money like that.
The
What?
dash don't go that way.
Token money.
Oh,
The dash
yeah.
doesn't go that way, dog.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, my dad can't take me. I didn't go to the mall until I was in high school. Yeah, it wasn't something that
I didn't go until it was like with my friends and shit, you know?
Yeah, like eso, even the Crenshaw Mall, like si tenía cosas, pero it was just an experience. So,
But now it's crazy how things have changed, because now it's popular to wear off-brand shit. Like,
Yeah.
the faker, the
Oh,
better.
sure.
Like in a way.
yeah.
And I
Faker the
heard,
better, yeah. It's funny, huh?
Yeah.
Well, even
But no,
now, I
it's
think
like-
there's just more pride in like
I heard things always take a
cyclical.
Yeah, cyclical shit where it skips a generation, and it kind of skipped us for a minute, but now it's coming back to this generation that's kind of blowing up with these off-brand shits, making your own stuff, and this would have been the time where the Swami
Would be thriving, no?
could have been thriving.
I
Yeah.
think. I mean, yeah.
And like you said, we were in that digital era, so that's why we kind of neglected the Swami. But
Yeah.
if it could come back,
But it's not
I
until
think it
like
would make
something's
a big
gone that you miss
comeback.
it. But kind of the same thing's going with Alameda. Alameda's not seeing a lot of support right now either, you know?
And it's been like that for some time. And one thing too that I'm I mean, nosotros nos la pasábamos ahí cada fin de semana. And I mean, we still do. And people who were at the Suami de los Amigos, or el de la Maple, se fueron para allá, right? Pero es que también, like, la gente va, and we think that sometimes supporting just means pulling up with your cart and walking around and buying churritos and buying fruta. No, you have to buy a pair of sneakers from la señora, like la chinita que está allí, que ya ha tenido su puesto for like 30 years. You have to buy. You have to take cash. You
And
have to
things were
spend.
actually cheaper at that point. Now if you go to
Yeah.
Swami, it's a little too expensive.
También, yeah, that's another point too. And then that,
But I think all that reflects the economy and,
That's
and the
true.
space most people are
Yeah.
in. Because even like with the car wash stuff, like the amount of car washes you're seeing, I don't think it's because people want to just make extra money. It's out of necessity, I think.
Yeah.
So I think I see those things, and I don't know, even like, yeah, the stuff we're talking about with like pop-ups and stuff, like people like, there's a lot of criticism going on with like pop-ups, but there's people working out of necessity to make money
Yeah.
to pay their bills. And
there's
stuff.
a saturation for sure with different, I think, industries within South Central, right? The economy of South Central.
Yeah.
Pero, bueno,
But
people
it's
have
not out
conflicting
of
views.
spite. It's out of necessity.
Yeah.
And
Y
it's
también, como dice el
understandable.
dicho, el sol brilla para todos.
Exactly.
Really, el sol brilla para todos. And ultimately, we're all trying to pay our bills and feed ourselves and our families. So, a como caiga, hay que hacerlo, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, it just sucks how I guess other people kind of shoot other people down in this type of economy. It's like, why will you?
Judge the next person that's just trying to
Judge.
make them, you know. I get if you're overcharging or stuff like that, or you know, like, yeah, but I don't know, because even with the car wash stuff, like I go out of my way to support some car wash on the street, but even then I'm finding out that they're not even owners. They're working for someone else that owns the car wash,
Yeah.
the truck, and there's renting or charging them or paying them by day. So it's
Right.
like, even if I try to tip, I have to tip them cash. I can't tip them digital because it's gonna go to the other guy.
Correct. Yeah. And that's a big thing too. Like my dad has been in the business for 17 years. I started off with him when I was a kid. I used to go with him.
You used to wash cars too?
Yeah, I still do
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah. It's a great point of pride because
I feel like as a kid, it's kind of embarrassing because I remember that with my dad, we used to go to stores and deliver because my dad works for like a bunch of little stores and we deliver bags. And at one point, it was like, I don't want to work here type of thing. But
Yeah.
you grow up and it's like, oh shit, my dad did all this for us. So it becomes a prideful thing. But I
Sí.
feel like as a kid, you do kind of feel it. So I'm not sure if you felt that way or was it always like a prideful
yo
moment?
nunca me avergoncé.
No? Okay.
No, yo nunca me avergoncé del trabajo. I nunca me avergoncé de the things that we didn't have. I mean, we grew up, like many of us in the community, we grew up poor. We grew up without resources. Like almost 90% of the community was on EBT, is on EBT,
Yeah, for sure.
is on CalFresh, is on some sort of social assistance. So eso nunca para mí fue un problema. And what I hear from like people in school or whatever, in the general, like, oh, their family's this or their family's that. Of course, we were kids. We were coming from different understandings of how to perceive the world. But I think it was really good in adulthood, in high school, in college, que poco a poco fuimos abriendo los ojos and started to see the error in our ways. And instead of putting each other down for our financial shortcomings, that we use that as a moment of empowerment to
Yeah, for sure.
engage in
That
industry.
self-awareness during that age is super important. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Because also
And-
recognizing the opportunities that others have, the benefit.
Yeah, and socially too, we maybe picked up on a movement where we all started to empower each other, and even with the work that you guys do to empower and to highlight the businesses that exist. Uno piensa that it's super luxurious to be a business owner, but the reality is that no,
for sure, it's
es una
hard.
joda, es una chinga tener que levantarte temprano, ir a buscar esto, ir a buscar el otro, que si se te arruina esto, si te arruina el otro. It's a hustle. You
It
know,
is.
it's a hustle, and
They don't always see like the
And it's
80%
never
of
ending, too,
struggle.
like-
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I mean I'm so blessed to have, been raised by my parents that ellos, sin vergüenza, vámonos, hay que comer. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you're doing good work, honorable work, like, ¿qué importa? Lo demás sale sobrando. Because uno nada más sabe lo que va cargando y lo que uno quiere tener. But yeah, there's just so much too that goes into how culture is informed by the businesses that we have in the community with, the car detailers that are now popping up. 17 years ago, nadie. It was like, ¿tú qué vas a andar haciendo en un carro?
For real.
Lavando carros en la
Yeah.
calle. I'll just go over there. And it's like,
Now
no.
you go down King Boulevard. It's
Yeah,
stacked.
like I'd like to say my dad, I don't want to say it, but you know, I am gonna say my dad,
was
like,
the forefront of that?
he was the forefront of that. Yeah, maybe there was like him and then two other guys que andaban haciendo eso, pero I mean, you have a vision and you go full send y te avientas a todo lo que da. And luckily, you know, it's been something that's been able to put food on the table, to put me ahead, to put my siblings ahead, my mom ahead, y todo lo que uno va teniendo. Claro, no tiene uno mucho, pero lo que uno se tiene de algo bonito.
Facts.
Yeah, and it's been growing, and poco a poco la gente va viendo that it's also a viable field and an opportunity. Like, how many jardineros were there back in the day too? A ton. I don't really know what the situation is for jardineros now.
Yeah, for sure.
But similar situation where there's some sort of industry, entrepreneurship, and of course, poco a poco, it's going to trickle down. Poco a poco, younger generations are going to do it. Older generations are going to do it. I think in the big picture is that as long as you're working and you're putting in something and you're putting something back into the community, then let's just push it forward. Whether it's food, coffee carts, car detailing. I don't know what's another big industry.
You don't even drink coffee.
I don't.
What the
No, I
fuck?
don't. I don't.
Wow. It's like I can't live without coffee.
No
Have you
matcha
heard-
either,
At
because
least a
matcha has
coffee a
caffeine.
day.
No, no matcha tampoco.
Tampoco?
No,
Like Monsters?
no.
Soda? Is there
Any
soda?
energy
No,
drink?
Soda
yeah, it
has
does.
caffeine,
I don't
yeah.
drink. No, I just
Any energy drink?
no.
Protein bar?
No.
What's that?
This is a
Sparkling water.
LaCroix.
Sparkling
Oh, that's
water.
Sparkling water.
With
Strawberry
caffeine.
peach.
Gotcha.
Nah, chill.
Get me out here right now. No, I would have felt it by now.
Yeah.
No, I haven't had coffee in like 10 years. I used to drink a lot of coffee. You'd find me drinking like a quad Americano and then like a
quad
espresso.
Americano?
Yeah.
What is a quad
It's
Americano?
just espresso shots
With like four shots?
water. Yeah, 4 shots of espresso with water on
I didn't
ice.
even heard of that.
Yeah, and then when Starbucks started to pull out like the nitro cold brews, I was like, give me that right now. Pero no sé, I just growing up too, and as you start growing up like with your bodies, you start realizing that
You're on edge all the time.
you're on edge all the time,
Yeah.
and there are times that you just cannot take in caffeine, or it's just not something that's going to work out for you. So it was a hard lesson, pero un día me aventé. It was a quad Americano, and then I went to the donut shop on Central and Vernon.
Ooh.
Goodies Donuts.
That's a good donut shop.
Yeah, it is.
My
It
dad
is.
got a winning lottery ticket there once.
Oh, you did?
My dad.
How much?
Dang. Yeah, how much?
I was like 10. 10
$10?
10 bands.
10,000?
10 bands.
10 bands.
But they tax it, so it was like you only got like 7 bands. You know, they tax the shit out of
Where's
it.
the money now?
It's gone.
Just kidding.
It was years ago.
Dang. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
10
allegedly.
bands. That's the most I've ever seen someone win. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know anyone that's won more than like 30, 40
either.
bucks.
Well, they have them like all on display right
You're
there.
on-
There's
you're
people-
on
Is
the
your dad
wall?
still on the
I don't
wall?
know. I don't know if he is.
Oh,
But I
dang.
think they
Go
have a
back and
spot
look.
with huh?
I'm gonna go back and look.
Yeah.
It might be.
Let's
yeah.
go find them.
Yeah, let's go archive the lottery winners in South Central.
Yeah.
There is low key.
It's like a niche
Well,
for
the
that.
walls, yeah. Oh, okay. Photo idea, photo project idea.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Let's start it.
Where are they now?
Yeah, where are they now? We heard you won $10,000 15 years ago. Where are you now? What did you do with the money?
See the Toyota in the back.
Oh, sé que le va a dar.
That's a good answer.
No, ¿qué iba a decir? So
Caffeine.
I had
quad
a
Americano?
coffee from there, like one of those Vietnamese coffees.
Oh yeah.
Man,
I just had one
first
this weekend.
time. Oye, no.
And you had a quad Americano already?
Yeah, in the morning, pero ya para este entonces my body ya estaba acostumbrada, so I was like, man, I need another coffee. Let me just go there,
Another
support a
hit.
local business. No, hombre, a la hora, I was like, ma, like, me siento mal. Like,
Ayúdame.
yeah, literally. And she was like, ¿estás bien? But there was another big life event that had happened, and I was just not in my senses. There was a lot going on. There's a lot of stress. I'm the oldest in the family. Ya yo cargaba like con tanto estrés. And I ended up in the ER because I thought that I was having a serious medical emergency. And of course, there was other things, but all to say that after that experience, it had me reflecting on my habits, on my rest, on what it meant for my own body, doing an internal check-in on health and wellness. And I was like, ¿sabes qué? This is it. I don't need coffee. I have been just doing something else to substitute for maybe just another thing that needs to be addressed. So let me hold back, and that's it. And funny enough, I just realized that I never needed coffee. I was just really interested
sure.
in having that
I think it's
mental
part of,
stimulation, and I was
yeah,
like,
no,
oh,
for sure. And I think it's part of that
ADHD,
grind mentality they
yeah.
feed us, right? They you have to work hard and wake up early and take a coffee and go straight to
Yeah,
work and like always be
yeah,
on the run. Like I think that's part of that. Like that commodify the cup of coffee, you
yeah.
know.
But I'm just a naturally energetic person.
And that's good though. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like honestly it's because I'm so used to coffee that I feel like I can't be that without it. But honestly, if we give it up, I'm pretty sure we'd not be too far from what we are right now, anyways.
Maybe try it out.
I've
It's
been
like
thinking
if I
about
tried
it.
out after the second day, my my head hurts.
Probably.
It's your body rejecting it, yeah.
Probably,
So
probably.
I really have to take like a whole week off so my body can get used to it.
I like coffee withdrawals.
Because without coffee without
funny,
a day or
but it's
2
a real
days,
thing.
What do you
my
like to
head
drink?
hurts.
What's your coffee of choice?
Anything that's kind of sweet, bittersweet. I like that Vietnamese coffee right there at Sammy's Donuts. Right now, at Starbucks or like even like Café Calle, that's where I get most of my coffee. It'll be like a cortado.
Okay.
So it's like something small, but strong, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
bittersweet. Like I'm on the bittersweet side right now.
Yeah. Do
It
you?
used to be all sweet, but now I'm bittersweet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Changing
A
shift.
little.
Do you have a little like pastry or something?
No,
with
it's just
it?
coffee. Just
No?
because
Fucking-
I was trying to cut sugar for like a minute, so I thought that had less sugar.
Yeah.
So I was going with like the cortados. But yeah, I'm not trying to go back to like a regular latte because I don't know how much sugar it has, but in my mind, the bigger the cup, the more sugar it has.
Yeah, probably.
So I just stick to cortados right
Yeah,
now.
Starbucks for sure. So I worked for Starbucks during that time when I wasn't drinking coffee, and people would be like, "What do you recommend?" I'm like, honestly,
Water. Bottled
yeah,
water.
yeah. I'd be
Water.
like, honestly, water. I don't drink coffee, but I always relied on my colleagues, on my coworkers,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Hey, what's the
Recommend.
recommendation of the day? What do you think? What are you drinking? What can I pitch?"
So you worked at Starbucks while not drinking coffee?
Yeah, at Universal.
At
Oh.
Universal Studios?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, at City Walk. It was high impact, high demand.
sure.
But it was great. That was one of the work experiences that made me realize that I was naturally energetic more. I mean, that was already there, pero it further emphasized it porque nos teníamos que levantar at like 4 a.m. to go in for opening shifts. But it was high engagement, right? Because it's a tourist spot. And then I mean, the pandemic happened and people were let go, of course, because, you know, the pandemic. And for a quick moment, I was like, oh, I'm going to start a coffee shop because I had the know-how.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
had the
everybody's
drive.
kind of mentality.
Well, that dream is not there for me currently. It's not a priority. I might revisit it in the future because I didn't forget everything I learned about making coffee and running a business. But
You would need a taste tester though, huh?
correct. And I don't do that. But I think coffee businesses
What
in
about,
South Central, if you're listening, you have a demographic. It may not be big, but you have a demographic of people who don't drink coffee. So maybe including some non-caffeinated drinks might be good. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Like a
For
decaf,
sure.
For me, like a chai latte or yeah, I
a
like
decaf coffee shop, just all decaf and teas. That'd be pretty dope.
That might be a great. Hey, someone
A little
should.
niche, but I mean,
Yeah.
there might be a market for that.
There could be. I would certainly visit it. I think one of the big things, I support friends in the neighborhood who have their coffee businesses always. Even if I don't drink coffee, that exists outside of me. But anything to support, it would be great to be able to try out some of the caffeinated drinks, pero I mean, si no se puede, no se puede. But having that variety for people, we're not all coffee drinkers, right?
For sure.
It's almost like in the same sense of going to maybe a little bit of a tangent, but not everybody like drinks also.
Well, that's been a big shift, and I feel like coffee might have that in a few years too. You know, where people are like this, like, yeah, I don't know, it's
All
like another
decaf,
addiction. You know, like
teas.
Yeah.
I feel like teas hasn't had its kind of peak
Because
where
of the
like,
Boston
people
Tea
want
Party.
teas.
honestly, for real,
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean,
you rejected the tea
Right.
because of that, and that's why coffee's so popular. That's all
Oh,
TikTok.
so big coffee. Oh,
That's all TikTok. on.
It's our research.
Hey, big coffee's gonna come.
Enough research. That's the only research I've done. But yeah, supposedly because of we used to be a tea nation, but
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of the Boston Tea Party, we went to like full coffee.
coffee, but that's
Yeah.
been so long that I feel like it needs to be revisited.
But culturally,
And
like that's why
we need tea
coffee's like.
shops.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Mentally, we're all like no taxation without representation, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. That's
I feel
the
that's
quote.
still very true of South Central, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you said you would never move out of South Central.
No, I don't think so.
What do you think like the current state of South Central is with like a lot of these apartment buildings being built? And, like, taking
Oh
over housing?
goodness, that's a great question too. There's a lot of
great
people. There's a lot of people that are getting their hands in the community. A lot of people that are not from the city, that are not from the state, that are not from the country, that are buying on that are buying plots of land,
Yeah.
especially the houses that belong to the older African American
Yes.
generation, and remodeling them into duplexes and slapping a Section 8, some sort of thing, or some other kind of, housing development. And it's great that we're getting more rooms and housing, pero a la misma vez, ¿a quién le está cayendo? Right? A group that is based in Korea, a group that is that's based in China, que no tiene nada que ver aquí,
They don't care.
que
I
no
mean,
conoce
yeah.
de aquí, for better for worse, like les vale madre. And uno de generación de nosotros que tal vez quiere ser homeowner no puede, because how are you going to compete against an international housing company
Developer.
who can obviously buy you out with everybody that they have here, and you're barely like a first-time
Yeah,
homeowner.
it's insane.
Yeah, no se puede. To that, I think that there should be more housing resources, housing, purchasing, education for our community. Because we maybe grew up in a generation where we were raised on I have to make it out the hood. And that may be very true for a lot of people. That's not true for me. I don't feel like I need to make it out of the hood to make it.
For
I'm
sure.
making it,
Agreed.
and the hood's making it with me, and
Yeah.
I'm making it with the hood. I wish that mentality was more shared, or maybe there was a little more curiosity
Around that. Yeah,
that.
because I feel like same. I've always thought back to the, like, people say you got to get out the hood. You got to get out the hood. But why not make it better ourselves,
Yeah.
Improve it where we can.
Es una carga for sure, because you have to.
But there's beauty in that, because like when you build from the bottom up, there's more sentimental value to it as to just moving out to a nicer spot. Like, where's that sentimental, cultural value?
Yeah.
So
But
I see
aside from
that.
the sentimental, when it comes to personal finances or even individual, or just like the economics, the money is within that same area. The money stays in that pocket. The money becomes yours. This asset that like a car. Would you rather lease a car? Oh, okay, maybe that's a different one. But you own that land. You own the land,
Yeah.
which is different than owning a car. You own the land. That's an asset. Nadie te lo puede quitar, So we don't have that, but there are a lot of things that are changing. So to answer that question of the state of South Central, we are in transition. We're in flux. Our generation is definitely contributing to this growth. And I think que lo debemos de seguir con mucho ánimo. We maybe have this like really high idea of like this perfect vision of South Central, South LA, and maybe we can get there, but it's not going to happen
It's slow.
overnight,
It's gonna be
right?
slow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first
Slow progress.
the first step is conversation. The first step is communicating. It's like taking the thought into something tangible or something material, whether it's conversation or writing or an email or lo que sea. And
Or
then the
videos.
Or videos. Yeah, exactly.
And photos.
Yeah, and burritos. I don't know. Y luego ver qué más se puede hacer. Like one big thing too, when we're talking about how South Central has been built and how that feeds into housing and culture, redlining, segregation, something big in the community, right? Anything south of the 10 or south of Pico, because that's where the first African-American operated firehouses in front of the Coca-Cola building.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
There's a
big-
museum there now, by the way.
Correct. Yeah.
Check it out.
So important.
It's open
Yes.
once a month, I think,
Hit
right?
that up, y'all.
We have a video about it. Check it out.
Yeah. Link in the
Have
bio.
you seen it? Yeah, link in the bio.
Of course, I'm in museums. Of course.
Oh,
Of
oh,
course.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I feel
Okay.
like, yeah, no, claro. We have companies like Wells Fargo. We have big banks that were contributing to redlining and segregation. And
So fuck Wells Fargo? Sorry.
well, that's a hot topic.
Anyways, yeah.
I mean, you can make your decision. I think
That's
we all have the right. We should all have the right to make our opinions and decisions as long as they're informed. So part of being informed is knowing that Wells Fargo participated in redlining
sure.
and segregation.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
do what you will with that information, but also, I mean, it's nuance. The community, there's pros and cons. There are things that are always informing us. But Bank of America, for example, major responsibility for the housing crisis. JP Morgan, right? Wells Fargo, all these big banks. But how are they maybe reaching back into the community by setting up programs for first-time home buyers, by doing classes, by doing orientations? So in a way, como que se están recibiendo, and then like the $10,000 initial, like programs que están haciendo. So maybe there's a little more that can be brought up, and maybe that's a bigger picture for the state government, for the federal government, which I really believe that our generation needs that assistance. We need to learn how to buy homes.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up. We need to know the vocabulary. We need to have that as part of our curriculum in schools. Because how are you going to tell me that I'm going to be a functioning member of society when you won't even tell me how I'm going to exist in the society, in a fucking house, on property? What's more American than owning land?
Absolutely.
Then fucking
Yeah.
show me how to buy a fucking piece of land, right?
Sure.
Ese es un punto. Pero yeah, having the resources and knowing how to navigate that economically is also just as important, because if you speak the language, si sabes cómo comprar casa, or at least have an understanding of where to go, then the money stays back in with you. Then you buy a house in your 30s, a los 50 años, 20 years from then, your 30-year mortgage or whatever, you've got that much more in assets, you've got that much more in value. You have your children, if that's a path that you choose, and you have property, you have land. So that's also, something to note, something to consider, something that I think about.
For sure. Something that should be fucking taught, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you park on the street, or you have your parking spot?
We park inside the house.
Nice.
Yeah, we park inside the house.
How's your block with parking? Is it bad?
Oh, it's bad. I mean, like, South Central has like a big parking problem, and
Yeah,
I know that
huge.
on some streets,
Double park all the
double
way.
parking, y la gente también es cabrona. Like, si les da la gana, te like quebran los vidrios,
Yeah.
o te rayan el carro, or
For sure.
te paran y te empiezan a gritar chingadera y media.
it's bad.
You're like, damn, bro, this is public property. What the fuck? And
crazy.
hey, come at me. I mean, I don't park in the street. Imagínate my car.
Yeah, it's
my
really
van
bad.
after.
Honestly, it's
Yeah,
really
what's up with some of y'all's parents que le están gritando a somebody else's parents about the parking? No, but I mean, I respect it. That's part of the culture.
No, for sure. I mean, that's
Part of the
that's how it
culture.
is.
Yeah.
Nobody has it like we do.
Sí, pero es que también hay que ponerse a pensar about the density of the community. You have, historically in South Central, single family homes
With multiple families.
with multiple families or big families. And in a city where public transportation or micromobility has not been invested into, where trains were removed, track lines paved over, ¿qué es la expectativa?
Yeah. for
¿Dónde van a
sure.
poner los
And
carros?
most people work outside of South Central.
Exactly. Yeah. Or people come into South Central. So a topic for South Central, a topic for other cities across the U.S. Mobility, infrastructure. And that's, I think, one of the fascinations with the railroads and things
That's
of that
great.
sort.
I didn't know about that. About you.
Yeah.
Love to learn more about the railroad shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
do want to explore that. I want to see photos still.
We should do a walkthrough one day.
That'd be sick for
Yes.
our
You guys
page.
down?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do
You
it.
guys want to
Let's set it
collaborate
up.
on that?
For
Yeah.
sure.
There's some areas that are
Oh,
exposed.
that can help with the cameras. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I'll show you later.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should do a railroad tour.
We can walk down Slauson, and you'll be with the big microphone.
I want to
explaining
start a
things.
series
Let's do it.
on this.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
No, actually, because it.
No, for sure.
So my interest is not just in that infrastructure, but another big portion ties into the swap meets. Está el Swami de los Amigos, está el Swami de la Alameda, and there's also a Swami del Pueblo. That's what I call it, the one that's on Gage and Holmes by Alameda. I think it's called like La Plaza something. You know where Walgreens is by Compton and Gage?
Yeah.
Si te vas por la Gage, antes de llegar a la Alameda.
Oh, yeah,
hay
yeah. I
otro
know which
Swami.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which one.
Yeah.
The
so
one next
it's
to the car dealer.
yeah, exactly. Next to the BMW Mini
Yeah.
Cooper lot.
Dude,
So
that's like a random ass place to have a car dealer.
yeah, but it makes sense because there's so many factories
Yeah.
right next door.
And they repair cars all around there. They have
Yeah.
like their own
Yeah.
repair systems.
Yeah.
Like, it's like all that street is owned by that car dealer, because across the street it's like another warehouse for cars. And
Oh, I didn't know it was all by them.
well, I think because
Oh.
like all those
I never-
I
warehouses
wouldn't
have
but
cars
Pat,
inside.
yeah, it's a multi-million dollar company. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they want to, they can, right? Yeah.
I've never been in that Swami.
You haven't? What?
Del
Have you
Pueblo?
been to- in youth?
Maybe in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I was
They
there
also
once.
they also need help.
sure.
They also need people to come in with cash and buy something that's not just churros and fruta. You know, a camisa, a cuaderno, I don't know, party supply thing. I don't know. People need stimulation of the economy and
For
the swap
sure.
meets. Pero a big anchor for me in terms of archives and commerce.
I feel
and how
like
it's connected.
Rogelio will have like a really good
Yeah.
input in this.
Ooh,
Rogelio
Rogelio.
is the other homie that
He's
he's
a
into
urban
city
planner
planning.
from Mid City.
Oh,
right?
ándale,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he's working out in Bakersfield right now. But he cares a lot about coming back and like doing things for his
Incredible.
community. So
Yeah, this would be a great discourse, a great dialogue. So the swap meets, right? And other big, even structures, warehouses that we have in South Central are informed by its history from it being like the outskirts of the city of LA and industrial. Se lo hacen para abajo, por eso hay un montón de compañías y like warehouses. Pero por la Alameda, aparte of it being the Alameda train line that connected the port, San Pedro, the port of the city, into the mainland, during World War II, there was a lot of manufacturing of airplanes and materials for war that were being created, and the people in South Central were working those factories. Pero ¿qué pasa cuando World War II ends and the warehouses are empty because the companies either grew into something else or just
they
don't
switched,
exist anymore?
for sure.
So se quedan solitos during the 60s, during the 70s, maybe some other stuff. And then comes the 80s and the 90s and the influx of the Latino population and business owners who are like, I have this big ass warehouse. Let me put a tianguis. And then little by little, you start forming a swap meet. So another big project that I've been working on is taking photographs, cataloging, and creating an archive of buildings or swap meets in the neighborhood as they've been growing in response to the changes from World War II in the community.
Oh shit.
So el swap meet de ahí del
pueblo?
de la Gage, the one that I'm talking about, started off as that. It was a really big manufacturing company that created the metal panels that went onto the boats. So they manufactured them there, and then the train was just down the street.
Damn.
Ahí lo encargaban. They ship it out to San Pedro, where they were building and constructing or shipping it out. Y ahí quedan esas cosas. So one thing growing up, what really clicked for me and this creative mindset that kind of manifests itself through archives is I used to go there all the time with my dad and my mom. And when my dad would be talking and my mom would be talking, I'd be like,
Exploring.
oh my God, like I want to go home. Pero yo me quedaba viendo al techo because tenía curiosidad. Y en una de esas, I was like, that's a crane. What the fuck is a crane doing here? What is this? And a swap meet. And me being on my computer, it was just the tower and like the monitor. I'd be like, oh, what is like this address, 1970s, this address, 1930s, this address, 1960s. And the digital archive for South Central was not existent then.
Damn.
LAPL didn't have that. There weren't people who were investing into archives. People who had these photographs also didn't know that it was something worth archiving. So I checked, I usually did like an annual check-in, and I do this often, like every year around a certain month, I'll be like, oh, let me go check in on like, what's the update on this archive that still doesn't exist? Is it real? Is it not real? Is it existing? Do people in dialogue? So around like 2013 is cuando miré the very first images of this swap meet, was what it was like during World War II. And I was like, ding, let me come back in another year. And let me come back in another year. And little by little, we started, there's this research. And
Is it just people that's uploading documents or like?
yeah, more or less people who are reaching out to the people at the LAPL and also their own people and other like people like yourselves that are doing these videos and having these conversations, and people like, oh, I have this photo of this house, or I have this photo of this building. Oh, I need to archive it. Where do I do that?
Kind of like what we did with when we did the little video for that center by USC where that movie theater was
Yeah,
at.
the village.
Yeah.
USC
Yeah, we
village.
posted pictures of
Yeah.
what it used
Yeah.
to be because we found them on Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Similar.
Did you see that video?
situation. Of course I did. Hello. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah, so
oh, this
something
is
like
part of
that.
that research. This
It
is
says
an
you're a
extension.
natural urban planner, it says.
Who said that?
Rogelio.
Rogelio.
Thank you, Rogelio. Land uses in that area. Oh, algo está bloqueando. Yes, absolutely. Multidisciplinary. It's impossible to be part of the community or to be a creative without seeing the systems, the roads,
sure.
and the infrastructure. For me, it manifests through capturing, framing images, and just using lenses and cameras to see that. For urban planning, I mean, I think there's another thought process that is really a skill set that is applied that I may not be, privy to at the moment or exercising, pero it's important to be multidisciplinary
For sure.
and see,
Especially now in this age. where we're in.
yeah, and see your neighborhood for every little detail, everything. And one big thing for me, and maybe this is a segue into the work that I do, I've been in arts education for about 9 years. I've been a beneficiary or somebody who's benefited from arts programming my whole life. I'm sure that when you were going to the library, you may have seen LACMA or other people pulling up, doing art workshops, or going to your schools, mobile museums, todo ese tipo de cosas.
That's you
So
now?
what happened?
Oh, sorry. No, I thought that was that type of work that you did now, where you go to places and you kind of
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's kind of what it extended into. So from a very early age, I was exposed to these art programming things and developing this artistic mind and who I am as an artist, right? What I see, how I see the world, what I frame, what I don't frame, what discipline, what medium helps me communicate a thought better or however it manifests. So I've been doing that for about 9 years, and I am in arts education, in museum programming, museum arts education, nonprofit art education. So a big portion of that is being multidisciplinary. You have to understand communities, you have to understand culture, you have to be culturally competent. That means extending outside of the medium, the art itself, and doing something that's impactful. Like if we're talking, I may be from South Central, but what if I'm not working in South Central? I have to be understanding that there's another world that exists outside of my own.
Yeah.
So how do I bring that in as an arts educator? What content am I creating? What lesson plan? What curriculum? How am I creating something that artistically speaks to this community or this group of students or this age or this group of abilities and make it something meaningful to them? What are the anchor points? And one big anchor point for me is your urban landscape, your immediate environment, whether that means food, clothing, music, or all of the disciplines that involve the arts. But for me, the fine arts have been so special, and a big anchor point when it comes to talking about art or how I see the world or the elements of art: line, shape, color, form, time, space, and value. These are 7 things that you find across the board when you go to an art museum or when you're in this room just looking at this mural. Line, shape, color, form, time, space, value. We see it everywhere. Engineers see it everywhere. Urban planners see it everywhere. These are just ways of
Perceiving the world.
perceiving the world. Yeah. And you can spend a whole hour just talking about one
For
particular
sure.
element.
Easy.
Yeah. And that's so special. So this creativity, this artistic mind now extends in terms of programming and how these elements of art are going to be distributed in different lesson plans for different groups, for different languages, for different abilities, and for different durations, right? Maybe it's a school group, maybe it's a summer camp, maybe it's a pop-up museum visit or whatever.
What was your earliest medium that you kind of fell in love with?
Oh man, I think photography.
And
Yeah.
what are your earliest memories with like photography?
That's a great question also. These are great questions. What? Wow, great interviewers. The very first photo that I took was July
Do you remember the
28th.
first one and the date?
Wait,
Yeah, yeah.
It's a date.
Yeah,
Okay.
July 28th
July
of
28th.
2000. And it's a photo of my mom and my dad.
Does it have the date on the?
Yeah,
Okay, I was
it
gonna
does.
say that's.
My mom, I owe so much of that vision to my mom. And this is a project too that I'm working on for a thesis. My mom had a camera. It was a Canon point and shoot. And at the time, point and shoots, everybody had them, ¿verdad? Almost, you could find them.
It was the '90s thing.
It was the 90s thing, right? Everybody had it, pero mi mamá tenía su cámara. And I was about, ¿cuántos años tenía? I was 4 years old. Excuse me.
Oh, and you took that photo for?
Yeah, I took that
What?
photo when I was 4 years old. And ella tenía esta cámara, and every time she would dress me up, me decía, okay, ponte aquí, te voy a tomar una foto. Of course, right? Our moms grew up doing that. And one time I was like, Ma, dame la cámara. And yo agarraba costumbre de abrirla, same.
Take the film out?
Take it apart, yeah, see the film without knowing that I was ruining it and try to pull it apart. Pero it was like a Saturday or something, or un domingo, or I don't know. Pero estaba mi ma, and she was just wearing her regular shirt, and my dad también estaba allí, and I was like, Ma, siéntate. And then I was like, Dad, ven, siéntate. And agarré la cámara, and I was like, okay, pónganse allí. And my parents, I realized that that's probably one of their first photos
Oh,
of
wow.
them that
Yeah.
I also took. Like
It's like they had the lens on you, but nobody turned it around. to that.
Yeah. So my very first photograph that I ever took was of my parents, and it's July 28th of the year 2000. And I have that photo with me, and I think later on, that informed so much of how I see the world, capturing memories.
It was like freezing time.
Yeah,
For sure. And that's funny because I remember during the 90s, like cameras were a thing. My parents would, anywhere we'd go to MacArthur Park for the free festivals, they would buy a film camera.
Yeah.
And they had a collection of folders of just like photos. And I was so intrigued by reliving those moments because that's what photos do. They let you relive moments. You know?
absolutely. Can I ask you this question? Because this It's part of this investigation that I have in my mind. Did you grow up with photos being taken of you after the point and shoot,
No.
phase? No.
No.
You just didn't buy a camera.
Yeah.
Why?
Me or my
your parents? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the film cameras, it was the 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
and then it stopped because
Yeah.
I think maybe digital. They didn't have digital phones. I don't know, but I know my siblings don't have as many photos as I did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about in your family?
I don't remember point and shoots in my family. I do remember my dad. Now that you guys are bringing this up, my dad always had a camera recorder.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
A camera recorder and had he was always that type of guy.
Yeah.
And he had the little how do you call them? Disc, not disc. The with the
Cassettes.
cassettes.
Oh, okay.
Like those mini cassettes.
Yeah.
And I know we had a box.
Like the VCR tapes,
Yes,
the mini
but
ones?
small ones.
The mini DV. Yeah.
And we had a whole box full of mini cassettes. I'm not sure whatever happened to them. I know he never got them digitalized or into a CD, but they were just kept in a box. I'm pretty sure they're lost now. But we had my dad always had a camera recorder. I never remember a point and shoot.
Oh, how interesting.
He was more of a camera recorder guy.
Yeah, that's really great to
'Cause
hear.
he would record like all the parties, festivals, shit like that.
See, of course, like
And
recuerdos,
then,
memories.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot about
You're
that
gonna go look
part
for
of my
it?
life.
Do you know where
Pull
they're
them
at?
up.
I don't
Personal
know if he has
archive.
them. I gotta see if he has them.
Yeah, well, that's the first step,
Yeah.
right?
Figure it
Yeah.
out.
But I'm really interested.
What's the consensus of that question? Like, what have you heard?
Well, that's what I'm working on. That now this is like a thesis personal project when it comes to archives in Latino urban spaces. I feel, no sé about you guys, but we had the point and shoot y luego se nos quebró. And around that time, I would say like 2005 or that new wave of digital media that was rolling out,
Camera phones.
camera phones, it was also really inaccessible.
Yeah, and
So it was expensive. And how were you going to do
that's
that?
so novel too. I think that bridge. I don't know, like
Yeah.
with digital like devices. I think
Financial accessibility. Cameras were expensive as hell. So if you were barely making a 2008 housing crisis, and even if you were renting, you were feeling it. Minimum wage was like $8. ¿Qué vas a andar tú comprando? Una cámara.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, para nada. Y luego para también para, what's it called? To
develop.
your fotos, ya los negocios se habían muerto. Ya casi no había gente que estaba haciendo ese servicio.
Yeah.
So you have to go out of the way. We used to go to Florence and Compton, donde está la Superior. Había un
develop?
señor allí. Yeah, that was our spot. Cerró because
That's
ya
what
nadie-
Rogelio's saying. A lot of phone
yeah.
shops were closing because of the digital cams too.
Exactly. So I'm really interested
That's
in
crazy.
that
That's
transition.
a great. I mean, I would have never like thought of that.
I
Like,
about that.
That's
And
so
I forgot
interesting.
about the whole life part of my life.
This is
were
a master's
camcorders.
thesis.
and it's funny because my younger siblings don't have as many pictures as me and my older sister have because we grew up together, and that makes sense. You know, my parents never had digital cameras.
Claro.
I don't remember digital cameras around my
Yeah.
house. I remember
Pero-
film cameras, but not digital.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you say that because, again, this is like a personal master thesis project that I'm working on. And it all connects to libraries, archives, museums, and then culture. Pero if our own families weren't being archived, then our own neighborhoods weren't being archived because who could afford it? If
So you
it
think there's
wasn't
like
a priority,
there's an era of like, how long do you think?
I would say
10
from
years.
like 2005 to 2015, because up until 2015 is when like Android started to get a little more cheaper. Metro PCS
Yeah, Metro PCS.
pulled up and
yeah.
made it easy for phones with cameras to be accessed.
So like everything's archived on like Facebook and MySpace.
Yeah,
All the
to some
photos
degree.
are there.
Yeah, 'cause
low-key,
on some
You can't
private
access
server.
MySpace no more.
Oh.
I've tried to access MySpace for my
really?
pictures.
Well, yeah, see those
Because I feel
private
like all of my
archives.
photos are like archived in MySpace, Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's why I
wonder.
feel with the stuff we have, like MySpace, it could just all go away if we don't put it somewhere, you know?
Yeah, you should
Yeah, we
catalog. You
definitely
should
been thinking
archive
about
that.
that stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
on a separate archive. I also think you should print it out. Print is king. Printed media is a solid choice.
We're working on a project for printing designs, some shit
Yeah,
like that.
zines for sure.
Zines.
Oh yeah.
Well, you got a zine coming
yeah.
up? Tell us
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. This so I've worked on a couple of zines just in being in school doing the art program. I went to Cal State Northridge, did a program in art as a discipline with analog photography, ceramics, and all the disciplines, art history, and then cultural anthropology. So a big thing in photography is making zines, and there are different kinds of zines. There are different folds, there are different things, and each fold serves a different purpose, right? There's a fold that you can make 16 or 32 faces or 32 images. There are other folds where you can only do 16. It really depends on what you're trying to see and say. One of my first scenes was an illustrative zine, so it was all the highways around the neighborhood in South Central.
Oh, shit.
And it was called well, it wasn't called. It was like two titles. It's Te vas a ir por da da da, and the back page was El da da da, and every page in between, as you unfolded and turned, was el 110,
El 10,
el 5, el 10, el 91, el 105, and that's it. That was the scene. It was an illustrative
genius.
scene. Yeah, it was very creative.
Was it hand drawn
sure.
or?
Yeah, yeah, it was hand drawn. I love photography, but all the artistic disciplines. It's how I capture the world. It's how I see the world. But that was the first scene that I made. I didn't really make a lot of reproductions because it felt like something very personal.
For sure.
Maybe it will come out in the future, but you know, there's just work that's being created all the time. The second one and one that I'm currently working on, I'm thinking of titling it like Slosson's Finest, and it's an archive of graffiti along the Slosson corridor. And this has been a project that's been going on for me for about like 10 years now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You've been documenting that long?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
That's a good
often do you
one.
go to
Slauson is
document?
very,
Yes.
very
Slauson,
artistic. Corridor.
absolutely. But it's also got that Los Angeles history, that South Central history, that railroad track history for me.
So it's like a double dip for you in a way.
It's a quadruple dip. It's like a Chili's like triple dipper for me, okay?
It's a quad Americano. It's a quad
Yeah, it's delicious. It's tasty. There's
It's a
like
sampler plater.
it is, yeah.
Like 4 different.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm really interested right now with that Slosson corridor specifically, there's all these graph artists. I love graffiti artists so much. Say what you will about vandalism y lo que sea, yeah. But just in terms of the artistry, tenemos estos graph artists that are coming in and putting their own individual marks. That's their identity, right? That's their colors, that's their line, their shape, that's their elements of art. And then now there's like these big crews that are coming around and making these like massive they're massive like names. And it's cool and it's awesome, but you know what? You're making it a little standardized, and I think variety is the spice of life. So I'd rather see a big wall with a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
than
for sure.
one wall with one thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Hot take.
It's good to criticize.
is.
I mean,
I think
yeah.
But again, it's not gonna
overrated.
last long. I feel like it's gonna be there for a cool minute, but then it's gonna be taken down and replaced by the smaller,
You think?
unique ones.
Well, I hope it happens right now, tomorrow. Somebody go out there and disrespect. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's crazy because I posted that Carver video recently, and I've seen a lot of crews saying that they all came out from Carver.
Oh,
so I'm not
hey.
sure how true that
you
is.
see how many
like a lot
different
of
ones
crews,
came out of there, huh?
Yeah.
a lot of these big crews that are out right now came out from Carver, and what the comments are saying.
Yes,
So I don't
and
know
that's
how
so
true
beautiful
that
to
is,
hear.
but it's pretty
Yeah.
dope, and it's during our age too, so it's not like it's recent or like super old.
Yeah.
It's during the like 05 to
08.
like 12 era. So between
Wow.
those, like that time gap, I feel like a lot of those crews came out from that.
That's
That's
era
so
in Carver.
awesome.
I gotta
Shout
go
out
read
to
those
all the
comments.
graph artists that
I
are
haven't read
out
those
there.
Oh,
comments.
you
I gotta
have
go
you
read
should.
them. I gotta go read
You're like,
them.
oh,
Yeah.
you know, I think like one of them is like BAH,
Yeah, yeah.
and then forgot what other ones, but there's a few that came
There's
out of
some good
Carver.
ones. There's some people out there that
Carver
are
and
like,
LA Academy, I
Are
think.
clearly
Yeah.
artistic, you know?
100%. And even this dialogue, this conversation of what is art, what isn't art, graffiti art, what it means in terms of it's stigmatized, right? Slosson Avenue,
It's that should be like its own little museum,
it is.
low key, huh?
It is. It already is.
It's like a tourist. People
It
just
already
drop by
is.
to like watch the
The
art.
walls and the corners and the bus stops of South Central are already living museums. And we have graffiti artists in the community that are putting that down. Now, of course, vandalism and property y todo ese rollo, like, I get it.
Let's
I totally
acknowledge, let's
understand,
acknowledge,
right?
yeah.
Let's acknowledge que también por una parte se ve like así y esto. Speaking from the elements of art, from the artistic expression of how words, how letters are being manipulated into specific designs, es súper lindo.
And a lot of it can go back to resources too. Think about it. You know, if we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
grander resources, these
Yeah.
kids would be in museums and
Yeah.
making
I
art
used to
in
not
other
like-
mediums.
And
Yeah.
some of them maybe are. That
For sure.
line is changing. So fíjate que I was in Mexico City for the first time.
Oh,
Fui a la
CDMX?
biblioteca. Yeah.
Dude, I've heard there's like a renaissance over there as far as like culture and arts.
Sí, bueno, fui a la Biblioteca Vasconcelos, and my goal was to hit the art history section. So I was up there.
Of course.
Y uno de los libros que saqué was, I was specifically focused on graffiti artists and how that is, or murals or things of that sort represented in the city. Y
In Mexico?
in Mexico City, specifically there. Y tocó, ya tenía una lista. Like I had narrowed down this book in research in the past, and I was like, oh, la Biblioteca Vasconcelos tiene este libro, lo voy a encontrar. And I pulled up on it, and it's a zine, essentially, like a 600-page book
Damn.
of graffiti artists in Mexico City.
That's crazy.
And that to me was like, Leslie, esta idea que tenías for your zine of Slausen's finest, pen to paper, bitch. Like, vámonos, full send.
Get it done.
Esto, somebody has already done it, and the dialogue already exists. So publishers or somebody else has already seen the vision for cataloging, archiving, putting these things on. Nada más está in taking the medium, putting into a digital format. I don't know, whatever. I'm playing around with the idea of like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
you know, how the material qualities of the zine. But
How does that graffiti compare to like graffiti out here?
everything's got its identity. I don't think it should be compared. It all is
I guess that's what I'm
representative.
asking. What
Yeah.
differences did you see? Like colors, like
Yeah.
fonts?
Sí, sí, sí.
Like brighter colors, right?
Right.
Mexico uses a brighter, more pop colors.
Yeah, the palette for sure. There's a lot of oranges, there's a lot of blues, there's a lot of contrasting
Yellow.
colors, primary, secondary, tertiary colors.
Interesting.
Aquí, I think it's
On the darker side.
on the darker
more...
side, yeah, and it's really pretty too. Like there's a group that just did some work between Maine and San Pedro, and it's purple and
Oh, I
black
gotta
and
go
white.
check it out, dude.
Yeah,
Dude, I love some of the dudes that are doing shit on billboards, dude.
yeah.
There's this dude that does like Guitar Hero shit on Billboard. He'll do like the Guitar Hero shit, like the buttons,
The buttons.
and then
yeah.
he'll do like some crazy ass shit. Like there's some really
That's
creative
so
people out
sick.
here right now.
Yeah, yeah. And there are names that you start to recognize, like Sorak,
Sor-
S-O-R.
love
That's the
Sorak.
homie
Yeah.
he follows.
Oh my
Yeah, no,
God.
he doesn't follow us.
He follows me, I think.
Oh, okay, he follows
Oh.
you.
Yeah.
Doesn't follow me.
Oh.
Sorak. So
Sorak is up. You know?
I just highlighted
Yeah.
Sorak too. I mean, not highlighted.
I love seeing
Like
his
I
work
did a video.
everywhere because otra cosa when it comes to graffiti
too.
artists, there's like living art history. You can go years, decades without seeing the stamp that a graffiti artist made. And it could stay there if it stays untouched. You go back 20 years, you're like, hey, yo, this
There's
person was
one that
here.
I grew up seeing by Carver that the building just got demolished, but it had been there. Nobody had touched it. Nobody had covered it. I was like, that's crazy because I remember being a kid seeing that, you know,
Yeah, and that was a person who probably lived in the neighborhood.
and was respected enough that nobody covered it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's all these components of culture that are manifested and so artistically in the neighborhood.
Sorak, Hopes.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Oh, there's a bunch.
Woody. I don't like
Nah,
Woody.
not Woody.
Oh, what, yeah,
He just got caught
He
too.
just got a crazy. Yeah, he just got caught.
He just got caught.
Yeah. Do you think South Central's losing the skyline view of downtown LA with all these buildings popping up?
Yeah, they're doing a lot along Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's in no time, in a few years, before we can't even see this city no more. From
I'm gonna counter that and say the fuck it's gonna be that way. Not on my watch.
oh yeah, I
Hell
hope so.
no.
Absolutely, I hope so.
I hope we don't get to that age. No, I hope we don't get to that point. I don't want to see it. Yeah, maybe we need more apartments. Maybe we need high rises, pero nah. No. Hay que mantenerse ahí. Maybe que lo agreguen en otro lugar.
Yeah.
Nah, take that to West
Here,
Hollywood.
guys.
Take that to another neighborhood. Don't bring it out here, yo. Yeah,
That's
the
interesting.
skyline is so beautiful. I think
Dude,
it's
I love driving down the 110, going north on a clear day. You're able to see downtown and right behind it the mountains.
yeah.
It's like so,
Yeah.
it's like surreal. It's like those
Yeah.
clean days after like a rainy day. It's just so clean and beautiful. You see like nice downtown nice mountain
Yeah.
outline in the back and like the downtown buildings like on the side of it.
Yeah.
I
It's so
wish-
crispy.
It's so crispy.
Yeah. I can only describe it as
I don't know what other
crispy.
city has that, but I mean, I don't travel a lot, but
Yeah, the skyline is such a beautiful thing. The skyline in the city here in LA is so beautiful, and even just the skyline that we have in our immediate neighborhoods, like the palm trees that are on 42nd, or some of the other pockets. The skyline that we have in the city of Vernon, or the landscape view that we have in the city of Vernon. Like, hay tanto para ver. The view that you can see from the blue line on the Slauson station. Another great point of
Yeah, we just filmed there. And it's
That one
fucking,
too.
yeah.
and they have it closed. You know, you have to kind of sneak in there to get there. You know,
Yeah, you do. For obvious reasons.
unfortunate.
no, she's talking about the Slauson, but the metro station. You're talking about the Slauson freeway overpass,
Okay.
right?
You're talking
No,
about
no,
the
no, no,
overpass?
no, no.
You're talking about the metro station, right?
No, I'm
Like
talking
when
about
you
the
go
blue
up the
line.
stairs. Yeah, that's why. When you go upstairs on the blue
No, that's
line.
the silver line.
Oh, you're right. That's
Or
the
whatever.
freeway.
Yeah, that's the freeway. I'm talking about Slauson and Compton, like before Homes.
Oh yeah, for
Like the
sure.
blue line.
Arriba.
Yeah, the blue
Yeah,
line.
Goes
yeah.
over.
Yeah, and you were talking about
Yeah, for sure.
the
Oh, yeah.
overpass.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ya nos entendimos.
How's
Yeah,
your Slauson project looking? How often do you go out there to document?
About like once a month. It slowed down a little bit because work and things at home but at least once a month. With
How far do you go, or like what?
it depends on what I see. It depends on
like
how I
it-
feel, on
from
what
the
the
blue
weather
line-
permits. También. Just almost every month, but now it's gonna be maybe like every week.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Depends on the frequency, because I think that maybe the zine is gonna just be.
How many pages are you planning for the zine?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Over 100? Less than 100?
Well, it depends on my capacity or something along those lines. Anywhere from 10. I don't know. A good starting point is always 10. 10 is a really good base
10
start.
pages?
12. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want it to be tactile. But if
Okay.
I'm working off like a digital zine, then you can upload whatever.
You said you've been working on it for 10 years.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you choose what to put and what not to put? That's a lot of photos.
What feels right? Some days it's color, some days it's lines, some days it's shapes. Back to those elements of art. Pick one, anchor yourself to that for the day, and push it through on wherever it goes.
Kind of like those I've seen when people go on like photo walks and they choose a color and all they do is take pictures of that color.
Yeah. Yeah, similar situation, and how that's going to be combined. Maybe it's a chronological representation, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a compare and contrast from this decade to that decade. No sé, there's so many kind of
Avenues you can
ideas.
take.
Yeah. But one big thing for me right now is introducing materials into the zine. So outside of it being a zine, maybe an individual project of just photographs with Polaroid emulsions. So what I've been doing recently is taking Polaroids of certain sections of Slauson and doing an emulsion lift. So boiling it, it's like an analog or experimental photography technique. You boil it in hot water, you pull out the photograph, and then you tack it onto another surface. And I'm really interested in the material properties of that, tacking it onto something that feels right, and letting the material, letting the photograph and time speak and be in conversation.
So like random objects.
Yeah, it could be. Mostly objects that are in that neighborhood, or things that are found. Trash, even. I think trash is also really
That's
cool.
dope. Yeah.
Trash is a big part of our community too. Shout out to the South Central Clean
Shout out South
guy.
Central
Yeah,
Cleanup, yeah.
Shout out to that guy for sure, because we have a trash problem. We need, like, I feel, public trash chutes or spaces. Like, same to the car thing, same to the parking thing. Multi-family homes or single-family homes, properties with a lot of people in them. ¿Cómo tiramos la basura? Right? What if we had like a community?
But it doesn't, the trash doesn't come from families, it comes from the small businesses.
También.
Or like,
I mean, I feel like
It's
it's
various-
a mix.
it's
I
various
hate
places.
it. It comes from a lot of places,
Yeah.
but the truth is that there's obviously
Because a lot of
trash.
it's also outside dumping, and that's what we're finding
Yeah.
in South Central.
Outside.
Yeah, that's true for sure.
Outside dumpers, you know.
Yeah. Maybe like a bigger city thing también, but trash, things that are on the street, pedazos de papel, cartón, whatever the fuck, like,
Yeah.
están allí. And I think sometimes it's nice to just like pull. If you're in the sculpture field, in the like, if that kind of section of the arts, you're like, oh yeah, I would love to take that plastic piece of trash, bring that shit to the house. I'm the trash man. I bring trash everywhere.
hey, someone else's trash is someone else's treasure.
Seriously,
Typo.
especially to sculpture artists.
For sure.
And assemblage artists, gangster's paradise for sure. Yeah. No, there's a lot of creativity in our communities, and we may not see it, but
Well,
Not just
like you
that,
said,
but
the
we just-
conversation is what matters to start things off. You know,
Yeah,
having
I
those
mean,
conversations
yeah.
with each other.
This past month, we've met a lot of people that are super just out of the passionate about other things. Like, for example, you talking about trains and all these graffiti artist stuff things, and then we just met someone from Seattle that's in the aerospace field from South Central, and then Rogelio from, like, I don't know, urban planning. It's like all this knowledge and talent is right here in South Central, but nobody explores it. Like, it's, you guys are like gatekept in your areas.
well, we have arts education. Back to this conversation of what I do for work, what my personal vocation or goal is. arts education is so important for us as people. It's very important for us as a community, especially when we grew up in a time where we were told that we had to leave the neighborhood in order to succeed. To know the tools for creating
How do you get
something.
how do you get young kids
Sorry.
right now in this digital age to care about art? Because right now everything's digital, everything's just gaming,
Yeah.
YouTube content. How do you get them in your profession to like care about
That's a great question
photos,
also.
illustrations, things
Yeah.
like that?
There's a big movement. There's always been a big movement for the digital arts. How that's transferred over and the connections that are being made is is really beautiful to see. There are different organizations, different nonprofits, different schools that are taking digital media and the digital arts and having that be their point of focus. So, how do you get kids growing up in a digital age to still be creative and to still make work? For me, I think it's found super foundational to be introduced to the elements and the design principles of art. Because if you know these core things in your artist toolkit or in your toolkit in general, then you can go out and make anything. You have to speak the vocabulary and the language to manipulate it and make something your own. So when it comes to kids growing up on TikTok and YouTube, tal vez están en un punto where they're just ingesting, but
Yeah.
little by little in high school, as you know, their
Developing
Fine
motor
themselves, their
skills,
identities.
their identities, and these are all like life milestones. At in elementary school, you still don't fully understand symbolism. You don't understand symbolism until you're about like second or third grade. Object permanence may still be a thing. When you're in high school, you're more centered toward things that have to do with your identity, but your fine motor skills also change. So having that advocacy first, right? Letting kids know, letting your siblings, your cousins, whoever, if you see them interested in some sort of thing on a computer, on a device,
Meet them where they're at.
meet them where they're at, but also tell them, hey, do you like that? Do you think you'd ever want to make that? Oh, if you could make a game, what would your game be about? If you could design a game, what would your character be? Oh, your character would be this. What kind of clothes would it wear? What colors? You start digging deeper into these open-ended questions, and little by little se van poniendo la curiosidad, where it could just be a small conversation you have at a party, as an introductory thing. In the arts education field, in the museum education field, that's a big thing that we do, for having students in whom are maybe just there for 45 minutes for a quick, drop-in session.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the artwork that you're making. Oh, what colors do you think might work well? Oh, why is there something else that I can get for you? Is there another material? Or what if we added this? Or what do you think about that? Open-ended questions are really good for inspiring curiosity, no matter the medium. I myself don't necessarily work with a lot of digital media. I like tactile things. I like photo collages, tactile, printed media matters. But first initiating that curiosity and planting that encouragement, I think, is a good segue. Teachers do it all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to our teachers
For sure.
at all the schools in the
Yeah,
neighborhood. Shout out the
absolutely.
teachers at Carver. Shout out the teachers at LA Academy. The
I can remember
at
teachers that were
Jefferson.
pivotal to like my development.
Yeah.
And I
What was
still-
that teacher?
I had a
Miss
teacher. Well, you can answer if you want. Go ahead and
No,
answer.
I just that was good. Go for it.
I had Miss Gwen in 4th grade, dude. She
Oh.
used to read Lord of the Rings, and she had a specific voice for each character.
I love that.
That's
And that's
Interesting.
insane. Like for me, it's like the amount of care she had to like teach kids creativity in that way. Like
Yeah.
I still think about that.
That
you
was
know?
performance art.
Yeah, it was.
Something so tiny, but that made such a big impact for you. What about you, your teacher or teachers?
Well, probably the only teacher that I remember the most was probably being in middle school. She was Miss Dev. For some reason, she's the one that stood out for me. It might not have been my favorite subject, which was English and like poetry side of it. But I do remember her passion in poetry and an artist and just literature in
Yeah.
like general.
Yeah.
So whether or not I liked it, I liked the passion that she had for it.
That's so awesome.
So it's things like that too.
Yeah, and I mean that really goes. Teachers are, it's like the lowest paid profession in the States, right?
Which
Pero
sucks.
teachers, of course, 100%. We need to advocate for more every single time that they're striking, and every single time they're asking for to be paid. Yes, absolutely, because there's so much work that goes into developing curriculum, executing curriculum, putting in those small touches of, yeah, I can read a book, but let me take it a step further. Yeah, I like math, or I like this, but let me take it a step further. It's like really a work of passion and love and care, and it changes how you see the world. It appeals to you in other areas. So teachers también need to be supported, but we also need to support our students outside of school. We
Yeah,
also
for
need
sure.
to encourage them to
And you asked us
explore that.
what was our teacher? What about your teacher?
Oh man, I have so many.
Okay, just
I
one.
have so many.
Just one.
Just one. I can't.
Okay, two.
Man, Ms. Romero. I'll go by grades. Ms. Romero.
Oh wow.
And Mr. Vargas in elementary school. And Ms. Gallardo. All of them. Just kidding. All of them. But Ms. Romero was a special one for me for sure. And Mr. Vargas for sure. He was my 5th grade teacher. And he was very big on civic learning and engagement and community practices. I think a lot of that is still reflected today. But he was like, okay, if you're going to be in music lessons or you're going to be in this, then you have to make sure that you do your work. And God bless him really, because he was introducing us to like algebra 1 in 5th grade.
Damn.
And that shot us up. Like I ended up in calculus in high school because of the foundations he set on. But to set a structure to understand that you can do schoolwork and you can do the performing arts at the same time was so fundamental for me. Yes, you can learn school and you can have an artistic practice also. From that, I went in and joined a mariachi when I was in middle school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was in the performing arts, and Mr. Vargas was very foundational to understanding how you function as an artist when you have multiple things that you have to take care of. Ms. Romero was just great in general because she had like this natural creative way about her. She saw everything in color also. In middle school, it was Mr. Picasso? No, not Picasso. Piscasio. He was awesome. He started a digital media elective. And this was in conjunction with the library. Miss Murphy. Shout out Miss Murphy. I ended up going into libraries and museums because of her.
Damn.
Her big thing was information literacy and digital literacy. So she and Mr. P, así estaban, we were in yearbook, and there was all this creative activity that was going on. We didn't know it at the time, but we were being creative, and they were so foundational for that. And then in high school, things changed. Of course, the recession came around, arts programming were eliminated, so I didn't get to take art at all until I was a senior in high school at Downtown Magnet, and I took art history because I was like, I gotta fulfill this art requirement. Shout out and God bless Mr. Paulo. Shout out and God bless Mr. Chow, who was the math teacher. He wasn't in the arts, but I didn't realize it at the time because of things happening in the brain. Pero math and science, math and art, calculus and the visual arts, calculus and sculptural art go hand in hand. There were concepts and things that were being taught that I didn't understand. And I remember, I'm never going to forget this because I also dropped the ball a lot in high school. Like I barely graduated really, like with a 1.9. Shout out my counselor too. But this last year, we had the AP finals, and I was like, great. Well, I got to take my calculus final, like the test this morning. And then in the afternoon, I got to take the art history one. De un chingadazo. Fuck me, dude. Mr. Chow had this like belief that if you felt like you couldn't do any more for what you experienced in that subject, then let it go. If you know it, you know it. And if you don't, then you don't. Invest your time and energy into the next thing. So I remember having like this huge art history textbook, and everybody was doing their calculus thing. I was like, estuvo, I know that there's no point. Let me invest into something that I know for real. And me quedé allí, and he came up to me at one point and he was like, good job. You got this and you're going to do great at it. It's all right. And I was like, damn, thank you, Mr. Chow. Because low-key, I was like, fuck, I should have been doing math. He knows it, whatever. This was a very small school. We had no windows. We were all packed in there. So we were all really close, and we had these very, there was a sense of trust and belief in teaching and mentorship in the school. So he was so foundational in later in life, realizing that, you know what, the science field isn't for you right now. Maybe it is in the future, but for the time being, doesn't matter what you go towards, just make it happen, make it work for you. And it was that push that told me when I was at CSUN, sabes que maybe accounting's not going to work, pre-med's not going to work. You're under these financial constraints. You come from this neighborhood. This is your family situation. Si no se puede, no se puede. Move forward with what feels right and what feels good. And that was art history. So I took that moment of like Mr. Chow just being like, yo, tú échale ganas. Like, do what you got to do. And went full send. And from that, I ended up being in museums. From that, I ended up contributing to state awards for education programs, and doing good things in the community. And of course, there was Mr. Paulo. She's a very hard person. She definitely was somebody that not everybody was like, I don't agree with her teaching style, but she shaped me into who I am academically, who I am in terms of work, program management, and content. This love for art history and realizing that you don't only have to be an artist to be in the arts. You can be an art historian. You can be in archives. Her way of teaching things, seeing the world, the discipline, the structure definitely provided a big anchor for me. So I thank them, and I thank Scott too. Scott Portnoff, he was in IT. I totally dropped the ball in his class. Programming, I did 2 years. Estuvo bien, but he saw me for another thing. And there was this positive reinforcement that exists in this culture and community that I'm so thankful for. So those people. So I'm explaining this to provide context, but it's not just one teacher. It's been a multitude of people.
Yeah.
And for your teachers too, I just asked that question, but I'm
no,
sure
for
that there are
sure.
other
No,
teachers
definitely
in your
more.
life that you're like, I remember this, and this. So we're all part of a bigger community. We're all a part of something bigger, and we all feed each other. We're a village. Somos no, aquí nadie crece solo.
Yeah.
Nobody makes it on their own. As much as you want to say self-made this, self-made that, para nada, dog. Like, we all came up because of the people around us.
sure,
And people
absolutely.
around us continue to grow up because of us. And that's our duty, ¿no? Ese es nuestro trabajo.
Yeah.
¿De qué sirve tener esta perspectiva? ¿De qué sirve ver este mundo? ¿De qué sirve hacerlo? If not, to pass it on to somebody else who's going to take it on
Definitely.
and make it theirs, right? El sol brilla para todos. That means in terms of age, in terms of industry, in terms of whatever. Very altruistic here. And that's
cool,
the
dude.
cultural anthropology.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, you inspire us, dude, for sure.
Oh, you guys inspire me. Yo,
Inspire
hace
us.
años cuando empezaron esto, I was like, yeah! Somebody put 911 in the digital humanities.
Yeah.
In the digital humanities, y'all, that's the next big thing. How are we navigating culture, archives, visual media, conversations in the digital world, in the digital humanities? What identities, what conversations, what dialogues are we pushing through? If I had the money and the resources, I would also pursue like a master's in the digital humanities.
Dude, it's
Yeah, like these one anchor point for me is like the paisa memes.
The what?
The paisa memes, like the,
Oh, okay.
like the corrido memes
Yeah.
that keep
it's
popping
crazy
up.
because I mean, they mix these two worlds for us. So yeah, there's a lot to uncover there for sure.
It's
Yeah.
a whole another conversation.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously,
lot.
with the work that you two have made, with the documenting, the photography, the people you've invited, the people you are going to continue to invite, that is a labor of love as much as it is a labor of archiving and preserving everything that's happening in the minute. And up until you guys, ¿quién está? Oh, old school or hood historian, también another big
Yeah,
person.
old school is one of the first one I
Yeah.
saw posting photographs of my
100%.
area, and I was like, dude,
Yeah.
fucking
Major
amazing.
shout out to him.
Yeah, for
Major
sure.
shout out to him. Pero no puede ser
school.
nada más uno, right? It's that initial person y luego va subiendo y subiendo y subiendo. And how many more like photographers in South Central do we have now?
I know it's crazy.
It's so
I
beautiful.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
If there's a kid, I have an extra camera just for anyone that wants to get into photography because that's
Yeah.
my loaner camera. Like
Yeah.
everyone has a perspective and document it. Why not?
Yeah. Back to this thesis, this project that I have. Why and what if the cultural economic implications of not having those things documented, but what does it mean now for us to have access to cameras, to have access to phones, to have access to ways of capturing the neighborhood in this day and age, knowing that we came from a place where we couldn't for so long, right? What are those narratives? How do we keep that conversation going? What is that investigation? So that's as much artistic as it is archival, as it is cultural.
As
And,
it is human, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
for
guys
sure.
are just great pillars. So I I don't know.
We do
I'm in
plan.
admiration of your
Well,
work.
don't flip it on us.
Yeah.
This is about you.
The
and
fact
we're
that you
saying
told
that
us
you
all this
inspire
and we're
us.
learning so much about
Yeah.
you, like goddamn, like
No, no, no.
Avoid us.
Deeper than
No, you
than
guys.
what we
Rocking.
realize sometimes, you know.
yeah.
For the very long, I hope. Okay, then let me say it. For a very long time, we didn't necessarily have an institution, right? A site on the digital in existence, a conversation, a name to provide to say, hey, yeah, it's these guys that are documenting South Central. We didn't really have that. Now we do, and now there's a bigger community.
That's crazy because the more that we learn about this or people tell us this, it just makes us want to do things bigger and better. So I mean, we're planning to eventually. I mean, we don't have the resources yet, but we're trying to see how to do it and trying to figure it out. But like, I'm not sure if you've seen the Compton Museum. Like, we want to open something like that here. So that'll be something that we're exploring, and I'm speaking it into existence. I mean, because the more you speak about it, the more, people will probably hear it, listen to it, and pitch us their ideas or their resources, because we don't have those resources, or at least I don't know how to obtain those. So maybe someone can just be like, hey, I know how to do all this. Tap in with me. I'm like, oh, for sure, let's do it. But I mean, yeah, that's something that we're hoping can be done at some point.
I'm so glad we've connected and had this
next-
conversation.
Absolutely.
today.
I
3
think
years.
it's been a long
Because-
time coming for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm coming from the administrative side and the arts nonprofit world, and
Yeah,
this is also
that's-
something that I've had in my mind about an institution, a site, a place, or an environment where
And I'm pretty sure
This is built.
you met Patty earlier. Like, she's helping us a lot too with like keeping us organized, because like we're hella organized.
well, you need administrators.
We're just
right?
making shit.
Yeah.
But like, how do we put all that together?
Yeah,
And
100%.
we need people like.
But I think the general thing that I come back to, like what we're talking about, like inspiring curiosity outside of just schools. I think for a long time curiosity is something that's thrown on the back burner growing up how we did, because we're always on we're always on high alert.
Yeah.
We're always like, no te metas con eso, mejor déjalo así, like don't get involved. Like I think that limits our curiosity as kids, and you grow up not being as curious. So I think just going back to talking to your neighbors and like talking to the business owner, talking to the old person on the block, like that's how you get all these stories, and you get to like experience things in a different way because you're recognizing everything that was said before you.
100%. Arts education, really, I think is for me the anchor point. You have to. What's that saying? Like, teach a man how to fish. You
feed him for a
Feed 'em for life.
day.
for a day or
No.
for life.
life.
Or,
Give a man a fish.
You feed
Eats
him
for
for-
a day.
But if you teach him to fish,
He'll eat for life, or like he feeds a whole village, something like that.
but when you're teaching
Yeah.
the man how to fish, you're introducing a fishing rod. You're introducing a hook. You're introducing
A whole concept
a
of
whole set of equipment.
how to do things from the beginning to an end.
Not the process of teaching, but I'm talking about the equipment itself. So
Oh.
in arts education, if we want to empower students, adults, señoras, big anchor point for me. I want somebody like my
Everybody.
mom, everybody.
Yeah.
If you want to truly empower people to be creative, teach them how to use the tools of the trade. The arts are trades. Teach them how to use an X-Acto knife, how to use a pencil, the difference between this paint and that paint, how to use a camera, the difference between this camera, that camera, how to develop with this, and this. Expose yourself to the equipment and the materiality, and then have that be part of their toolkit.
Yeah.
And then you give them the choice, right? Which ties back into agency, ties back into freedom. You know your arsenal. You decide what you want to do. You have an
What you
idea,
like, what you prefer,
what you prefer.
what looks good to you.
Yeah. The job is not to give the idea. The objective is to give you the tools so that you can take your
Generate your own
idea
idea,
and make
for
it
sure.
and materialize it.
Yeah.
Make it from the intangible to the tangible. So that for me is a big anchor point in arts education.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to fund this, tap in. Grant writers, I'm talking to you.
Absolutely.
We need
definitely
grant
need
writers.
grant
I
writers.
think
man.
Oh well, okay. Let me be very like direct and blunt. Like I'm a program manager here for arts education. That's my wheelhouse. So I think it's really great that we're having this
I
conversation.
feel like
now
we're like
because-
really blessed to have the resources where we're able to meet all these people and they all bring a unique set of skills. And like, it's crazy how much we're able to just kind of bring everybody together and be like, hey, you're good at this, do you want to join us, help us? And then they're like, yeah, cool. I'm like, oh, shit.
Or we're joining them. Like it's a
mutual thing.
It's a hand trade off,
and
It's
so
like-
much of that
sure.
back to this conversation too of like a saturation of businesses in the neighborhood.
right.
perhaps a saturation of artists or a
Why
saturation
not?
of artistic collectives in the neighborhood. Why not? At the end of the day, and this is a quote from somebody in the museum education world. Her name is Rachel. Her phrase, we're all after the same goal. We all have the same mission. Our methods just change. That hearing that in person, I was like, yeah, absolutely. Institutionally across the board, even in our fields, when you're part of a business or lo que sea, as long as you have your eye on the same objective, your methods may differ,
But you're all heading somewhere.
but you're all heading in the same direction. And I think that same thing happens here, is manifesting currently. We have our ideas of what our education should be or not be. We have our ideas of what curatorial projects or presentations should be or not be, what needs to be highlighted or not, what is informed, what isn't informed. But we all collectively care about South Central. So what is our common point? Where are the differences that unite us?
It's like,
and
where
how
can we
do
help
move
each
forward?
other? How can I help
Yeah.
you help us?
Yeah.
And a way
Regardless
to-
of time and space and development, you know, we're all working from different resources. We're all working from different pathways. So I think as long as you find yourself in a way like this conversation right now, let's talk shop. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Oh, I'm glad you came too.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
you could have easily said no and be like, nah, I don't know you guys.
I would
don't
not
know you
pass the
guys.
opportunity. No, I would not. Like, so serious. I'm so grateful, so thankful, so appreciative of the invitation. Because there are other things that are synthesizing in this head, pero we're very like-minded. We work in the visual arts, right? Our methods
I think
are a
so.
little
I
different.
think we work in the visual arts.
Yeah, I don't know.
In some type of art.
What is that? Yeah, we're working in the visual arts. Our methods are a little different, or our current assets and resources are focused in one thing or another thing, pero estamos trabajando hacia lo mismo, right? Y ya que estamos aquí, hay que seguir adelante. And anybody who's also commenting.
Oh yeah,
Same
absolutely.
things,
There are people that
yeah.
care about their communities too, and I think we're all like-minded. We're all creative, and yeah, I mean, we all come together. We definitely want to do that video with the railroad shit. And
Yeah.
Sure,
Yes.
let's do that. Let's
Yeah.
do that art
I do want to show you
wall.
this thing we're
Yeah.
working on. We want to develop some film cameras
Oh, hey, point and shoot.
to pass around,
That's what I
around the
meant.
neighborhood,
Yeah.
and then maybe create an Instagram where everybody can post their photos. You know,
I love that.
I want to inspire more people to use cameras. You know, to
Yes,
document stuff.
100%. Oh yeah, I want a community dark room. If I had the
That'd be
money and the
sick.
resources,
That could be part of the nonprofit that we're trying to build. You know, it's that art room
let's
there.
buy a
that-
warehouse
Let's do
tomorrow.
it.
Dude.
We're
Let's buy a
waiting on.
warehouse.
We're waiting
Who
on.
has a warehouse?
Yeah.
Please
Who wants to
give us
donate a warehouse?
Give us a warehouse. We need space.
Who
Yeah.
allows for creative curriculum creativity?
Yes, please
There you go.
allow it, please.
Yeah. And has like an AC ventilator.
For sure.
Oh yeah, we need an AC.
Yeah.
and a
If you're gonna
window.
have a dark
Private
room,
parking.
you need to have a ventilation system where people are gonna like drop to their knees from the chemicals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
no,
crazy.
a community
Wow.
dark room would be incredible. Community.
It's like the
exhibition
more
space.
people we bring in or like talk to, like we all have the same common goal. Like we all want to do something for South Central, but
Yeah.
we don't have we all come from the same backgrounds. We don't have we don't have those full resources where we can just buy a warehouse or just like, hey, call this person and get it funded. It's we're building it slowly, and I feel
Ooh,
like
we're learning it.
We're
I don't know
learning
the
it. Knowledge.
first thing about
It's the
buying a
knowledge.
fucking warehouse.
yeah, I don't know how to buy
Knowledge,
anything.
yeah. That we're
I don't even
navigating.
know how much a warehouse costs.
Do they take Apple
One
Pay?
point, yeah, like
Can I tap?
what
Klarna?
credit score do
Can
I
I
need?
Klarna?
Can I call?
Yeah,
Klarna the
can I
warehouse?
afterpay? Can I buy now, pay later? Can I put $14 down at 6% interest for the next 12 months? Yo, yeah, no, I mean, maybe that's the next big step.
Yeah,
The next big
crazy.
step, familiarizing
Interesting.
ourselves with commercial purchases.
Real estate.
Yeah.
They exist. There's so many empty warehouses all over South Central. You know?
Yeah, somebody must know something, and if not, this will also just it'll materialize.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, the more things happen. That's what we kind of realize.
The more
The
we inch
first
closer.
step is talking,
more-
right?
We put it out there in the universe. Give
Yeah.
us a warehouse.
Yeah,
Let's-
warehouse now.
Let's chicken a year from now, see where we're at.
Yo, hey, but for real, one big thing that I do for myself personally is cuando las cosas look like muddled or a little like they're not materializing, I'm like, okay, today is April 28th of 2026.
29.
Oh, 29th. Today is April 29th of 2026. I can't wait to see what happens July 17th of 2028.
2
Think
years
about
from
it.
now.
Yeah, what day of the week is that? Probably a Monday. Time are you going to be waking up? probably 7, 8,
7.
whatever. You're gonna eat, you're gonna wake up, go to your car, you're gonna realize it's July 17th, and without realizing, you're like, wow, I remember having this conversation April 29th, 2026. Look where this happened. I use that as a marker to kind of think back when things are a little crazy or muddled, or projects are not materializing, or lo que sea. A good grounding technique, but also a place of reflection, because maybe in our neighborhoods or in our personal lives, we feel like we're not doing enough, especially when in the arts, right?
Sure.
In archives, it feels like it's never enough. You can never complete something.
It's like a struggling artist.
Yeah, siempre hay trabajo, siempre hay algo. It never looks clean. It never looks like you want.
It's
but
never done.
You have to give yourself a physical calendar milestone to sit and be like, wow, on this day of this month of this year, apenas teníamos 5 stacks. 300 days later, 200 days later, we have 10 stacks.
Of cash or what?
I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah, I sure hope it's cash.
Like the
I
stack.
sure hope so.
It's just slow progress is progress, you know?
Yeah, no,
like,
for sure.
And it's just
Yeah.
to reflect is like to realize that although things seemed impossible in the moment,
They're
you push
happening
through.
slowly.
You just gotta
And
push
as
through.
visual people, give yourself a system so that you can visualize that progress. Self-administrate with a system that allows you to place to see milestones, like
I think-
internal milestones.
I think that's one misstep we've had, and that's
should
one thing
have-
we're working on. You know,
We should have a 5-year book. I mean, a 5-year calendar. What's that called?
It's called
there's something
a
like that.
3-year and a 5-year strategic plan, which I have created for other places. Which,
Nice.
if you want some help,
Okay, yeah.
I've got projects that I've been talking about. Yeah. No. There's also resources for
Kinda take
anybody.
notes every day.
Yeah, a strategic plan, and that's a great skill to have for.
We used to have
anybody.
goals at some point. We're like, hey, let's try to reach this much, and then
It's 'cause we-
Whoa, we used to have goals.
we
yeah.
still get busy though, and then we
Yeah.
stop thinking about goals
Yes,
because we're
yeah.
so inundated with the work. You know,
and then we
Oye.
always surpassed our goals. So I feel like
I know we just
Pero
need to throw them
también-
out there. That's why the
yeah.
whiteboard's here. The
Yeah.
whiteboard. Thank you, Patty, for the whiteboard.
Shout
Yeah.
out, Patty.
and that's why we threw it out there about the nonprofit thing. Hopefully that comes to flourish one day soon.
Also, strategic plans are great, but sometimes you're working in an industry, in a field, in an environment, in a culture where having a structured plan doesn't work out for you.
Hopefully some
I
rich
mean-
guy sees it and like, oh, these guys are super passionate. Let's fund them. Anyways, sorry.
But una de las cosas, there's pros and cons too.
Yeah, no, for
because with
sure.
the strategic plan, you have to come up with one big objective. Do you want to limit yourself to one big objective?
Absolutely, yeah.
Or do you want to keep
Generalize
it
it.
free and going? That really, who's involved? Who's making that decision? What are the implications? These like thought processes are so important to keep in mind. So
Yeah, it's
strategic
fun.
plans are cool,
It's
but
fun. It's
that's just
stressful.
one way of doing it. You know, don't limit yourself.
Yeah. So much going on.
Yeah.
But it's exciting.
What's going
It
through your
is.
head right now?
Warehouse.
Yeah. I'm imagining my office already. A desk, a nice little screens everywhere.
Yeah. What color is your chair?
You got me thinking too much now.
Good.
White. I want a white one
Okay.
because the white means luxury. Luxury. No, it's just my. I don't know. I mean, it's just in general, like having a space for people, art in every aspect, for us to come together and have that public space, not just for us, but for the community. That's something that, it's, I mean, that's why we have this space. We're inviting as many people as we can. It's tiny. It might only fit like 1 or 2 extra people, but I mean, we're inviting everybody that we know and everybody that wants to come and like talk to us on camera.
Yeah.
So it's always like that.
Yeah. That's great to hear. That's great to hear that that's something that's already
Visualize.
We
Visualize.
started it, which is this, in a small space.
We started with the drone, bro. One
Hopefully,
drone.
we're for real.
one drone.
Yeah, we started it with one thing, and now we're in the office. Hopefully, it gets bigger and bigger, and we're able to bring in more people, and then just come together.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think I can't wait to see the growth. I would love to participate in the
Thank you
growth.
for pulling
sure.
up, and I hope it's not the last time.
Doing-
Yeah.
No, hey, we still okay.
Come
This
through.
train thing. Find me with a little mic.
Let's do it.
And-
No, we
A
got the mics.
microphone, because you're
We
gonna
got
be
the mics.
kind of talking about the history of the trains and the
Yeah,
corridor.
but like
and-
one of those little like TikTok microphones.
Oh,
right?
we have those. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
The
never
DJI
used any
mics.
of those. I
Okay.
can't wait to just be
Have
like.
you watched
"Hi."
Ruido Social on YouTube?
Yeah, but I've just never I don't have anybody who's with me recording.
No, but have you watched it? Like, oh yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
How's your Saturdays like?
Right now, light.
Light? Okay, because that's when we do most of our stuff on Saturdays.
Oh, good to
So
know.
like, if we were to do something, it would probably be like on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, that's great to know. So things have recently shifted for me. My weekends are more free. So Saturdays are perfect. They're a-okay. I think the morning is probably best to record
Yeah, for us
things.
too.
Porque se pone un poquito loco. But I'm happy to like record in the middle of the day and be like, ¿qué piensa usted?
I can see you doing
I
that.
would, yeah.
We've wanted to venture that far,
Do you
but
want to?
That personality
we've
is
thought
it's
about
just
it.
perfect. Yeah.
for ourselves, I don't know if
That's
we'd be
the-
great
that-
like that, you know?
That's a good. That's always asking this question. So
Yeah.
is there? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she does some great work in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would
Yeah.
totally fit that role.
I think twin
That's dope.
energies for sure. Twin energies and things that feed into like the for sure. I mean, my dad was like a DJ for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
shit.
Esto
Did he
es
have a
que-
collection of like USBs or discs or?
Back in the day, cuando tenían like
The
todo
discs?
ese
Oh, everything
set,
had to be discs?
puro CDs. When he left his bar, he was up in Highland Park, like across the street from Footsie's before it was Footsie's.
You're so tapped in, dude.
Dude, yeah, yeah. Bueno, mi dad, ya tenía como esta personality to just talk to people and,
Outgoing and everything.
outgoing and engagement. So I inherited a lot of that, and it manifests in museum spaces and for social media for the places that I worked in.
Interesting.
But hey, if it needs to exist in here right now. So
That's
full
how we-
send.
Full send.
¿Qué piensa usted, señora? ¿Le gustan estos baches? Because that's a big anchor point for me. Like,
Yeah.
what I'm visualizing is, let's talk about the potholes in South Central, the notorious pothole
Yes.
of Slauson Avenue.
Facts.
Don't you hate it?
I avoid it. I avoid Slauson.
Of course, because there's so many potholes, but because there's literal railroad tracks underneath the street that cave and crack from the water.
The soft soil
Yeah, exactly.
that I just learned about today.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking mind blown, bro.
Yeah, what
The
a
cows,
great
the
anchor
fucking
point.
cows.
Yeah, we could dress up as a cow and be like, oiga, ¿qué piensa
Moo.
usted? La vaca?
Hilarious.
El burro? Yeah, no, let's
Yeah, kick
let's
it
go full
Saturday.
send on that.
Yeah, for sure. I
Let's
think
go full
so.
send on that for sure.
Vacas burritos.
Yeah, vacas burritos. Oh my god, no, it's gotta be something else. Slauson burritos.
Trenes y burritos.
Trenes burritos. I'm gonna think about that one.
Yeah, let's think
Trenes y
about
vacas.
Trenes tostadas.
Tostadas.
Tostadas trenes.
Aguadas. Or what was it? Tostadas. What was it? Oh,
Tostada.
soft tostadas.
Yeah.
Aguadas.
it. Thank you, Patty. She added the train tours to Notion.
Oh.
You got it to Notion. You got it.
Yes, yes,
It's helped us because I mean we're so all over the place. Like every day is like a different thing we're focusing on.
We
and then
throw
we just lose sight of
ideas
things.
out all the time, but we never write them down, so they get lost in space.
You need metadata
Metadata.
for all the stuff that you're putting on your digital content or just content that you're putting on a webpage or lo que sea.
That's tags. No, it's like tags.
Essentially, yeah. So your tags list your provenance or who, what, when, where, and what. The who, the what, the where, technology-wise, whatever, and the what tags that specifically mark components. Like when you're on YouTube, you know how there's like the tap more, see more below. The first part that you see is metadata, and there are specialists in the library field that dedicate themselves to that. That's part of the work that I
Because
do.
even for my photos, I've been thinking about tagging coordinates.
Yes.
To all of
Yes.
them.
Yeah. Anything that you can get your hands on for metadata, do it. Because on the long run, it will always be a field of research when you're
Absolutely.
digging through your stuff. So you have a way of collecting it. Yeah, luego you can start building your bigger collections and categorizing and creating your own classification system. Pero start working on that. Or if you need help with that also, you have a librarian at hand, a su servicio. Or just doing it in general.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But cheers to you and thank you for coming.
Thanks again
Yeah,
for coming.
no, thank you so
accepting
much for the
request.
invite.
We just
Yeah.
invited you like from one day to another, so like it was very
Down ass
like,
food to down ass
last
food, you
minute.
know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, muchas gracias. It's been a great
Well, yeah, thanks for coming. Hopefully you can come by. The space is open to you too, so whenever you want to stop by and just kick it or work from here, you're more than welcome.
Thanks so much.
We have a sofa and a tiny desk over there. And a tiny
Hey.
desk
We
over
get
there.
by, you know, we get by.
Yeah.
And you have drawing paper.
Yeah, we found that here when
I,
we came in.
I thought that was yours for a
Oh,
minute. It's
I
like,
thought it was yours, so I never threw it out. So it was just here when we came.
Well, great. Now you have like an arts
Department.
Fine art.
department. We have the art department already. That corner is the art
Hey,
department.
hey, you have a bass guitar.
Yeah.
This is the
yours?
warehouse.
Is this yours?
That's the music department over there. We have the
accounting.
break area over there.
Oye, graban
have-
música.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, this guy is very talented. Have you
We
heard?
talked about forming a band.
Yes.
You haven't
we
heard
did. Yeah.
You should see his last video.
She plays bass.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I mostly
Yes.
play guitar. My bass doesn't work with the amp, so I gotta get it fixed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or I gotta get a new bass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot. I was just blanked out.
Yeah, no, music. Yeah, music. Oh, I would love to come back and just talk about music.
That's my.
I just
that's
noticed-
my first love. You know, music is
Yeah.
my first love into anything
Yeah.
arts related.
I just
Same
noticed.
here.
Yeah, my bad. I just noticed we have all these departments within this little square. Art, music, warehouse,
Operations.
operations,
That's just operation.
video, podcast. It's like, damn.
Yeah. That's awesome, you guys.
Interesting.
Felicidades to you guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Felicidades to you.
No, thank you too.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you. And thank you. Thank you.
No,
Gotta
thanks
do
to
that
everybody
until we
who's
die.
helped put this room together too.
And thank you.
Thanks, Cynthia.
And viewers like you.
PBS.
Yeah, and then you can like put an edit of like
Dude, we
90011.
should do a Zoom segment. I've been
Do
wanting to
the
recreate Zoom.
the Disney, like, you know,
Yeah,
thank you
you
for
do it
watching.
9.
Yeah.
Okay, we should do it right now. Okay. 90011.
Okay, just make sure to edit that.
It's live.
S
I can't edit.
L A
We
click.
need a wand.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it, right?
Yep. Shout out
Okay.
Gatos Burritos, Fotos Burritos.
Shout out everybody on the chat.
Shout
Go ahead, yo.
out.
All right, let's go.